and I would really appreciate it if you would stop Rob Taylor from blathering on and on.
Opinions expressed by talk show hosts, callers, or guests on the Rob Taylor Report do not necessarily represent the opinions of the hosting platform, subsidiaries, sponsors, or possibly anyone else on the planet or the known universe. From the tinfoil and lead-lined broadcast bunker on the beautiful southern coast of Oregon, it's the Rob Taylor Report. So strap yourself in. Your weekly political therapy session is about to begin. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the nearly famous Rob Taylor.
Hey, Coos County. Hello, Oregon. Hello, America and beyond. And thank you for joining me for this Monday. And for those of you who are watching today who live here in Coos County, we are not playing Where's 3H Tree Service because we already had a winner. You are too late. You're too late. So that's okay. If you ever want to get in on this game, and you live in Coos County, you go to the 3H Tree Service Facebook page. They will announce on Monday when they're playing and where they might leave their money. Sometimes you got to go find them. That's where we get the name, Where's 3H Tree Service. Well, today we've already got a winner. Congratulations, Sue. Spend that money wisely. Spend that money wisely. And I want to thank everyone who helps out with that. It's very well appreciated. And 3H Tree Service is a great group of people out there. Let's see. I can't seem to. There you are. How you doing, Chris?
Hey, man. How's it going?
It's going pretty damn good. What a beautiful day it is today.
The whole week's supposed to be like this, I think. Yeah.
September usually kicks ass, and this is usually the best time of year. I didn't do any crops this year, so I won't be harvesting anything, but I got a few tomatoes and garlic from a friend of mine. And so that's coming in. I don't know. Did you do any gardening?
Yeah, a little bit. Experimented. We have a raspberry called Fall Gold. It's like a orange raspberry.
Yeah.
And so it blooms in the early spring and then again in the fall. So, or not blooms. Well, yeah, blooms, like, produces fruit. So
Right.
we're getting a good crop of that right now. That's pretty cool. And the strawberries came back as well. So
Good deal. Good deal. I had been watching Rob from Basin Tackle talk about the Jhnathan James, now his last name escapes me, Dowdy, Jhnathan Jaem Dowdy, the guy who killed those two people on the bus, injured many, many more. One of them was just a freshman in high school. The other was a coach. And so he's going to be on here. He didn't have a whole lot of time. So just fair warning, if he pops in, that's why we'll shift gears real quick, because I wanted to hear what he thought about it, because I don't know. I'm pissed off at the system.
yeah.
I think we really got failed. And not only that, but the father, the family. I don't know. If my son comes to me after already wrecking several cars and he wants to borrow my vehicle, what father says, yeah, here you go, kid. Here's a 2,000-ton killing machine.
Yeah, it's crazy. And kudos to Basin Tackle Rob for sticking with it. He, went to all those cases, kept the public updated on everything, and that's rare, that someone would stay with a story that far. So
not a lot of people have that follow through, and that's what's cool about them. When you got someone who has follow through, they're the ones who are most respected when they walk in the room, because any politician knows they've probably been threatened 1,000 times for recall and this, that, and the other thing. But it's the guy who follows through and actually does the recall that you have to worry about. And, Rob going out and following this case, because we've been really busy. And so it's kind of been hard to keep track of things. You've been busy doing that homeless thing. How's that going? You had some really interesting stuff. I saw where Sam had another house, or was it the same house that's being squatted on?
He's done 3 now. Yeah, put cameras up and caught people in it, and they've got arrested. The last guy got arrested. He had meth, I believe, and a gun, like a illegally concealed weapon on him. Got lodged in the jail, I think only for a couple hours though, but nonetheless. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think he got a camera stolen. I got a camera stolen. And I had a plan for that, and it was like the week I was like, oh, I'm not going to give it away because they'll be able to figure it out, but I was like, oh, I should do blah blah blah. And I got busy with other stuff, and I was like, damn it, when the camera was missing, I was like, son of a gun, because
Too bad they don't
I'd
have
be able to find it.
trackers. Well, why don't
Yeah.
they have trackers with the camera?
So the camera does, like, if they were to put batteries in it, for example, or there's just a switch on it. You can just switch it off, and that's probably what they did. They switched it off and then destroy it. But the moment they switch that on, anytime they try and activate that thing, and the moment it grabs a cell signal, it will broadcast to one of us that its location, right? So presumably they've just destroyed them. Or just haven't turned them back on yet. But I have another idea for a way to do it without the switch, and I just hadn't executed. So darn on me for not doing that. But I will be doing that to my others. So
Once again, that's what blows my mind is how many people are out there active in society doing good deeds. We hear about all the bad deeds. We just talked about Rob. We're talking about you and Samuel Adams out there, taking on the squatters, which I love seeing those videos. I like how you put it to music. That was really good. It just
Sam, he does those with the music.
I
What was
love
it like? The Pink Panther music or something?
Yeah, it was totally cool. And I actually enjoyed that better. You're looking at all this destruction of this poor house and all this crap, and you're listening to this kind of like elevator music. It's kind of the contrast.
Yeah,
Makes it
can't
more
get too serious with these things.
No,
Yeah.
you really can't. But it just proves that there are a lot of people out there. And you had several people. I don't know if they got to you, but there were several people I saw who were willing to buy you guys cameras. So there are people
Yeah,
out there.
we have a lot of people reach out, and right now we don't need that. It's very appreciative. I appreciate it. I don't know what to
Appreciate
say. Um, but it's I don't know. I don't want to start taking money right now. It's not, I appreciate that from people, but we've talked about it, like setting up a nonprofit. Hi, Cheryl.
Hi, Cheryl.
Setting up a nonprofit or something so that we could do that. But you kind of open a can of worms. I just don't want to do that. I don't want to get people in trouble. If they buy us a camera, then maybe they're liable. I don't know. I would rather it just be us.
Oh,
So.
I certainly wouldn't tell. That's Rob. He's trying to get on. I mean, Doug Washington. He's going with the Doug persona today. I wasn't sure what to do, so I threw out Basin Tackle Rob when I advertised the show, and so hopefully he's not upset with that. And hi, Cheryl. By the way, I forgot. I put that up. But hi, Cheryl. Thank you for joining us. And so that's one of my, how many cameras have you think you've lost over the, I don't know.
I've only lost 2. Yeah. Or I've lost 1 and Sam's lost 1. But we have like a fleet of probably 20 at this point. So
that's cool.
All over the county.
Good that you can go out and do
probably
that.
More than 20. So
let me ask you how that works. Do you have to buy do the cameras do they have to be a subscription? Is it an app that works to them? Okay.
Yeah,
all
it's
right.
like we've gone with like a lower end model because like ultimately it takes a decent picture and you don't really need it to be super high def. So it's about $50 for the camera, and then we buy them in bulk, but so it ends up being about $50, and then the subscription, depending on what type of information we want, like if you want a lot of videos or just pictures, it's anywhere between $10 and I don't know $15 a month. So it does add up, but it's been worth it so far.
Your Majesty is joining us. That's one of his pronouns. Oh, we lost him again. Damn it!
Is
I
he in his
thought he might
car?
have
I bet
told
he's
us.
in his car
Oh, he's totally in his car. He had a whole bunch of stuff to do,
or
and he
truck.
said,
He's got a
I'm,
truck.
yeah, he's got his truck, but yeah, you know how he films in his truck, so he's got like a whole studio set up and shit. So he'll get back in with us. I guarantee you, he's probably at a shitty signal spot, so he's out driving around with his arm out. I'll get it. Don't worry.
I bet he's
But
out there trying to fish. He might even be on a boat. I went for a run down by the Millicoma Marsh, and there were
yeah,
so many fishermen out there. Like, I don't know, 40, 50, right
do
along the stretch there by the marsh. It was crazy.
you
You could hear them
fish?
all talking. No, I wish I've done like rock fishing from
Yeah.
like the what is it, the North Jetty, North Spit, and but that's about it.
Mm.
I'm not very good at it. I've gone to Basin Tackle Rob for some advice, and he actually made me some lures or whatever they're called. I have no clue at how to fish, but he's helped me out a little bit, and I caught some. But they shut down the North Spit for all that work. The Army Corps of
Yeah.
Engineers or whatever, they're building it up again, so it was a lot harder to get access to it. So anyway, do you?
Yeah, I used to fly fish. I did fishing. I fished all my life. I grew up fishing and stuff. But then I got into fly fishing, and that was a real art, and that was just really cool. And I don't know, I'm just not as excited to sit on the shore with
Hmm.
my lawn chair and my beer. If I had a boat, I guess it would be cool. You know, going out in a boat is all right. But
Yeah.
yeah, sitting on the shore just isn't it. I like being out in the water and actually being active. It was kind of cool to do it that way.
Hmm.
But and the fish is so good up in those mountain streams. Very good stuff. There you got rainbow trout up there. That's just delicious. Very good fish.
Hmm.
But no, not a big fish eater. Don't like crab. Don't like lobster. And people always, oh, hey, we got crab and lobster. Oh, good, you have all you want. To me, they're like cockroaches of the sea. I don't know. They're just gross.
Yes,
Little
water
insects. They do. That's what they look like to me. So, and back in the day, they were seen upon as not very good to eat because they fed off the
Hmm.
bottom. They were bottom feeders and stuff. And so they made them more gourmet. I forget why they had to do that. They needed a new food source somewhere back east. And so crabs and lobster became really huge out there. But
What's like clams and mussels? Don't they like take toxins out of the water? Isn't that what they consume?
oh
So
yeah,
it's like weird
yeah.
that people eat them.
That was the
Oysters.
problem with the Coos Bay is that all the crap literal crap they were dumping into the bay. And we worked on that project to get cleaner water into the bay. Dennis Beetham, who's a freaking genius, he owns DB Western. He was trying to put up a brand new state-of-the-art water treatment processing plant where the water would be so clean it was almost drinkable by the time he got through the other side, and he pumped it into the ocean instead of the bay. Cleaner water into the ocean, no crap into the bay. You think everyone would go for this, but no, the city of Coos Bay, the manager, Roger Craddock, he liked getting a little bit extra money for his salary, so he wasn't going to give up managing the utility because it was a public utility and it would have been privatized under the DB Western plan. So very bad stuff. I don't know why these people don't realize the market. Why don't people realize that, Chris, that the market provides better products faster than anything the government can do? And that comes with water, that comes with energy, everything that the government now has its hands in, I think would be provided better.
Yeah, they just want more control over it. I don't know. They're crazy. Don't ask me to understand what our like city councils think. I have no idea.
Well, it's city councils, and you're right. I think they just love the authority, and I love the money that they have with it because there's a lot of commingling in the budget between what they get for receipts from the water and electricity and stuff. I know that happens here in Bandon, and in fact, that's why we went in and got voter control of the utilities. But if it was privatized, I guarantee you'd be getting, and I have had privatized water. We had a privatized facility in New Mexico that pumped the water from all the way from Elephant Butte all the way up to Los Lunas where we were, and it was very good quality water at a very excellent price. It was cheaper than it was here, and this was in the middle of the desert. How can they provide it in the desert cheaper than a place where it rains nonstop? Explain that to me. That's crazy.
That's the Oregon way. That's the West Coast way. Yeah.
I got here and I'm looking at my water bill and I'm thinking it was raining. You know what I mean? It was raining. I moved here in
Don't
March.
they like not allow you to collect rainwater in Oregon or some crap like
Yeah.
that? Like you can't collect your own.
I think they changed that law. I'm not sure, but like anyone should give a damn. Collect the water. If they're not arresting the felons in the street, I don't think they're going to arrest anyone collecting water. But yeah, that was a law here in Oregon. And once again, why would you tell people what they can do with something that's provided by nature or God? I mean, you think a lot of Christians would be upset. That's, to me, that is an affront to their religion. Even if you're a liberal Episcopalian, it seems you would be upset that the government's telling you you can't have the gift that God has given you.
It's pretty insane to try and control the water from the sky, but especially if someone's using it for like gardening, like drinking it is another thing. Like people, birds crap on your roof, and then if that rainwater is coming off your roof, you better clean that water like 4 times. But if it's just for water in your garden, then that's great. Anyways, best part of the sea is all seafood for sure.
It's all seafood. Yeah. And well, that's I'm not a big fan of seafood, but if I can get people eating seafood, that means more T-bones for me. This is my philosophy. Okay. If you want crab and lobster, great, man. You want salmon, that steak of the sea, you go and have your salmon, because I'll be doing my fishing over here at the meat market. And I'll be picking up, like I said, T-bones and prime rib and New York strips and all that. But I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of a whole lot of seafood, but a lot of people are, and it provides a huge amount of nutrients. And once again, we were just fighting the wind turbines. Here we are. We were talking about all these people who are activists, and me and Diane, just on our own with a group of people that we never met before in Curry County, got together and we were fighting and literally won on the issue of the wind turbines. Thank goodness the president came in, but we won the vote. I mean, that was extraordinary. 80% we won in Curry, 60% here. And this goes to show that if people get involved, they get it active, that they can make change, make direct change.
Yeah, Diane was saying she met with Lynn County conservatives, and they want to start like a coalition with Douglas and Curry and Coos. So it's pretty cool. People are starting to organize and consolidate and collaborate, especially
Doug,
in the light
can you hear
of.
us? I don't know if he can hear us. His mic's on.
He sure is trying.
He sure is trying. He really is trying. He's got his arm out the window. Here, dude. Come on, man. I can get it.
He's got to upgrade from dial-up, man.
Yeah. Cheryl Armstrong says, no,
Is he on a flip phone?
No kidding, Rob. What are you using for technology, man? You know those Texans. I don't know. I just don't want to say anything. Yeah, that's but like I said, he's got his whole setup in his vehicle. He'll get it. He'll get it here in a minute. But
Heard a radio or something.
Something. Well, he could text me. I haven't seen him. Yeah, I can see your. Let me text him and tell him this. Where is he? Rob, I see it. Doug, I'm sorry, Doug.
Technical difficulties.
No picture. No picture, no sound. No audio. There you go.
It's just black.
That's weird. That's weird. Because nothing's worse than having dead air on the show, man. Damn. I'll tell you what, Rob. Man, you're killing it for me here. Oh, he's gone. Oh, wow. Sorry. He disappeared on me. No. I'm a seafood eater, and that means I see food, I eat it. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, that's more like me. But then that's where I see food. I go grocery shopping all the time, and that's where I see food. Damn, if he ain't trying it again. There he is, the man, the myth, Doug.
There he is.
Oh my gosh, cell service is getting worse. You know, with all those technological advances we have, I swear cell service is getting worse.
Yeah. Well, you know it was going to. I mean, because now they're going to start grading us on different plans. So if you want to get better, they're going to start charging us for it. I've noticed it. It's like with the internet connection. I used to think I had the highest of the internet speed, and now they go, oh no, for just a little bit more a month, Rob, we can get you even more speed. And it's like, oh my God, they're selling me speed.
My favorite is hey, if you're a first-time customer, we'll cut you this great deal for the next 3 years. You get it this cheap. And I'm like, hey, I've been a customer for 25 years. It's like, pound sand, kick rocks. We're going to charge you what we're going to charge you. I have no loyalty towards any type of company for anything anymore. They no longer have loyalty towards people.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at with Spectrum. That was exactly what it is. They're like $90 a month now, I think, is what I'm paying for it. And Ziply just came by and they were offering me $48, and the kid was promising. He swore up and down, it's the same type of service. It's just as fast, and I don't know, man. I just don't know whether to trust the kid or not. Who came knocking on the door?
I know. Like, cut a deal. Like, if you're wrong, if you're lying to me, you come back to my house and I beat the hell out of you. Is that like sign off legally? He goes like, okay, he signs, his parents sign, everybody's cool. But they don't let you do that kind of stuff.
No, unfortunately not. That's in the good old days. In the good old days, they would go for it. The kid would be all, yeah, I'm on commission. Let's do it, man. And so, yeah, that was the good days.
Good seeing you guys. Good seeing you guys. I've just been so busy. I don't keep track of anything anymore. It's nice to see the two of you sitting in front of me, kind of in front of me.
So you've been busy doing what you do. You've been out there fishing like a mofo, man.
Fishing, hunting, foraging, mushroom picking, doing stuff with the family, kids stuff, house stuff, traveling inland for different stuff, different projects and things we got going on. Yeah, we've been busy. I'm beat. I'm at the point where last night it was like 7:30 at night, and I was home at 7:30 at night, and I thought it was like 10:30. It's like, oh, it's time for bed soon. It's 7:37. Oh, okay, I'll stay up a little bit longer.
Oh my
that's
God.
Tweakers stay up all night. Methamphetamine maybe isn't the worst thing in the world. I don't know.
But you remember when you were 20 and you could get up at 5, 6 in the morning, and you were up until 11 o'clock at night, and you did it again and again and again and again, and it wasn't that much of a problem. Like you said, now I eat dinner by 7:30. I wake up in my recliner with the plate empty in my stomach, going, "What the hell happened?
Oh yeah,
honey, did you roofie me? Did you roofie me again?"
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
like I have this weird, strange energy now. I had a bunch of spinal surgery 2-3 months ago, whatever it was, and it's just been life changing. So I have all this extra energy now, and I don't have pain. But it's like my age and my body. Being in my almost late 20s now, my body doesn't do what it used to do, but like I can't stop going. So I haven't bow hunted forever. Well, I'm in the woods a week ago, and I come 8 feet away from an elk, face to face. Well, it's bow season. So I go to the gun safe. I unfortunately lost all my firearms in a tragic boating accident, but the bow was still there. Pulled out the bow, dusted it off, got it ready to go. And I've been spending a bunch of time out in the woods, like crawling up hills, trudging through trails. And it's been wonderful. And I've got to learn to stop at some point. It's like this switch has been flicked, and it's just go, 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 go. And I get to a point where it's like it's an autonomic reflex. Like I don't know how to stop right now.
The good thing is that you had a successful operation. There are so many people, and
yes.
we're at almost the same age where you hear all the time people, oh man, they screwed up my leg, they screwed up my hip. It's scary to go under the knife, but you're saying it was okie dokie. You did good, huh?
Amazing. I mean, amazing. The day I woke up from the surgery, and they pulled out discs, they shaved off bits of bone, they pulled out broken things that have been floating in there for years, put in a bunch of new stuff. I'm like a $6 million man. Some of our viewers don't know what that is because they're too young. But yeah, it's been amazing. And I'm looking at the clock, and I don't have a bunch of time. So did you want me to talk about the Dowdy deal?
Let's do the Dowdy deal, please.
Okay. So it's funny that this is happening right now because I just pulled over. I'm in Coquille right now, traveling on 42. Ahead of me by a few miles is a school bus with one of my daughters going to a sporting event. That is the same trail, the same road, the same path essentially that those UCC girls were in on April 18th of this year, when the known avowed criminal scumbag dirtbag Jhnathan Jaem Dowdy of Coos Bay, Oregon, was traveling westbound, extremely drunk, which is what he did all the time. Again, I've known this guy forever on different levels. And I just have to say, like, if you're friends with him, I get it. You know, you want to protect him. You're just as much of a piece of garbage as he is if you're still friends with this guy at this point. Family members, you get a special waiver. It's blood. You love him, whatever. But if you're friends with someone that is this much of a criminal, this much of a dirtbag, has taken, he was going to kill somebody eventually, one way or another. It was either going to be with firearms or it was going to be in a drunken wreck, one or the other. And the heinous crime. I'm sorry, did I cut? Are you talking? Okay, sorry. I'm getting some echo. Gotcha. The fact that people are still, some folks are still sticking up for this guy is just abhorrent to me. So, everything went to trial. It was a plea deal, which that's the way of the world now. It's the way of Oregon. I don't feel justice was truly served. In my form of justice will never be served. I think a lot more should have happened, but I also don't feel that the ADA, that the judges involved, because it kind of got passed through a few different judges, but all these different people, I don't feel that they did wrong. I don't feel that they, egregiously didn't do their jobs properly. It's the hands they're dealt with. It's the way the system is in Oregon. And looking into around the nation, and I've got a buddy of mine who's a lawyer, and he was sending me some stuff which was pretty interesting. Looking at breakdown state by state on similar cases, this clown here actually got a lot more than a lot of other states. And we always bash Oregon, like, if this was in the South, he would have been executed. No, he wouldn't. Do I believe he should have? I think the family should be given a bucket full of axe handles, and they get 15 minutes in a room with him. You don't have to participate, but you can. That option's there, and whatever's left is left. I would like to see that, but that's not going to happen. And the 20 and a half years that he got is really par for the course, and even on the heavier end of a lot of these sentences, even with some repeat offenders. He hasn't hurt anybody before. He's hurt people in all fashions, but nothing that's ever gone to trial, nothing that you can ever prove. Of course, we know there's what you know and what you can prove. One thing that Judge Combs said, and I don't know Combs' politics, I don't care to know his politics, but every judge whose courtroom I sat in, I felt was very fair and decent. And I can only speak to this case. I know a lot of people don't like a lot of our judiciary here locally, but everything that I saw firsthand, every day I left feeling, hey, we're not in that bad of hands. It's not that bad. Again, that's just, I'm speaking of this one specific incident. And Combs had talked about finality versus certainty. And he made some really good points on it. And is he just speaking platitudes and trying to make people feel good? I don't think so. I think everything that I heard that man say was genuine. And he was describing to the family, he goes, yeah, we'd like to see more. This isn't just a case that's come through, gone on my desk, and it's just another stamp it and go. He goes, this was an emotional toll on everybody that's taken part in it. And could we fight it forever? Yes. Could we drag it on for years and drag the family through court and through constant trials and through testimony? Can we do that? Yes. Can we be certain of an outcome? Absolutely not. And he spoke on how he's sat on some cases. He's been the judge for some cases where it's been, okay, we're going to get this guy. Man, he's going to go away. And you don't get the jury that you should have got. And it turns out the guy doesn't get what we all feel he should get. And he said, he didn't say, I think I'm paraphrasing, exactly, he should have got more, but he was basically saying there's at least some certainty and finality to this now, and we can move forward. I believe he has to serve 18 years before he can get any kind of parole. Like, there is a parole rider on there. He can get some, but he has to serve the majority of that sentence prior to getting any kind of parole. Lifetime ban from driving, which of course that just goes without saying. There's going to be some type of financial restitution. That's coming up, I believe, on the 11th, or maybe it's November. I have to check my notes, but I'll go and sit in on that as well and find out what's going to go on. This guy has nothing. Dowdy has nothing. He is more poor than a pauper. And it's so funny because he still has people in his life. He's like, oh, I got houses I can sell and make money. Hey, bud, when you got a public defender, it's because you don't have anything. And there's nothing wrong with having a public defender. But when you tell people, I own commercial fishing boats, I own houses, I've got so much money, and you have a public defender, you're lying, bud. Yeah. I've had people reach out to me that went to middle school with him. From people that went to middle school with him up to people that have been friends with him up to and including this incident. We could sit, and I never would divulge the people. I would never post any of the information, and I promised all of them. And it's pretty interesting. People know that, hey, they can talk to me. It's somebody to talk to. And I'm never going to divulge their stuff. But the people that he has had relationships with, friendships with, it's mind-blowing. The people have reached out to me and explained to me what a piece of human garbage this guy is and how he's hurt them bad. And we're talking men, women, and children. This is a bad guy. He's a complete he's a weakling. He's an absolute cuck weakling that masquerades as a tough guy. And I hope he finds love in prison and has many suitors and is loved and adored by many, many men larger than he is. Yes. See, I'm a caring person.
You are. I mean, that's special about you. And I like how you look out for the other guy. Let me ask you something. Is his relative, I think it's his father in this case, who enabled him, and I don't know if any other relatives enabled him or friends, are they going to pay a cost? Has that been mentioned? Do you know?
No, his father wasn't an enabler. His father was also a scumbag who spent the last 20 years in prison, got out the past couple years, and then died like a week before this incident took place. So that was one of the, oh, my dad died. My dad, I don't know, that's been in prison for 20 years died, and I'm going to get drunk again like I have for 16 days in a row and drive around. Yeah, so that was one of his things. He's just, again, where does it go? You know, we talk about people that have had good parents, and I don't know anything about his parentage. I don't know anything about his parents, and I can't speak to that. But I think we've all heard stories and know good parents that have had wayward children. And we've also known some real scumbag, degenerate parents that have had scumbag, degenerate children. And on the other side of that, had some good children. So yeah. I don't know what made him the way he is, but the way he is a vile, reprehensible animal and creature.
Oh, yeah, totally. And like you said, I hope he finds lots of love in prison and yes. Hopefully he gets general population. You know, when they go to prison, they should have to tattoo on their forehead what crime they committed. So pedophiles.
Absolutely.
Still, we know who they are. You know what I mean? And then we know who they are when they get out of prison. That just should be a rule. We should identify them that way.
I killed women across his forehead.
Right across his forehead, and let everyone know. Yep. I was watching somebody. He talks about people in prison, and they were showing a guy who has been made basically into a dog by the gang. And I'm thinking, wow, maybe this could be this guy's new vocation, being a dog for the prison kings. This was and I
woof,
mean, literally,
baby, woof.
Yeah, wolf baby, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is truly hell. But that's what these freaks and weirdos who are now caged together are going to be able to do.
Yeah.
What? So is it over with? And thank you for doing this, by the way. Thank you for doing this. But is it over with? What do you do now? What happens?
It's over. Now there's a restitution phase of it that they kind of put off because they want to get all this done, and then we're to find out again. He has nothing. So something else that Combs did, and I'm not trying to fly the flag for Judge Combs. It's just I left every one of those days that I was in there feeling good about our judiciary, feeling that we were in good hands, and it came to the point where he had to pay fines and penalties to the courts and to the state of Oregon. Now, the ones that there was no leeway whatsoever, there's ones that where the judge did not have discretion as to whether Dowdy would pay them or not. He had to put it through. So, okay, you got to pay $2,000 for this. You got to pay $250 for this. But every single line item where there was latitude with the judge's decision on whether or not to have Dowdy pay these fines and penalties, he absolved Dowdy of those and said, no, you're not going to pay a penny for that. And his exact words were, because any nickel that you ever find in your pocket, I want you to have to give it to the families.
Nice.
That was, I almost had tears in my eyes at that point. I God bless America. I mean, I just wanted to grab a flag right there and fly it and then stab Dowdy with it and fly it some more. But
yeah. No, and it's good you're doing that, and thank you for staying on top of that. I don't know if you've been watching what we're doing because you've been so busy. We've been completely right out here and
don't like you thank me, and it's like, oh no, bro, no. You guys do so much. You're such movers and shakers and influencers and the subjects and targets of a lot of hate by a lot of nasty people. You know, that's just par for the course. When you're flying close to the enemy, you're going to take flack, and you know, some of the negativity that comes all y'all's way is just mind blowing. You guys do what you do because you care about your community and you love your nation, and that's good enough for me.
Hey, let me ask you. I don't know if you've been checking out the videos Chris here and Samuel Adams have been doing about the squatters. I'm telling you, there is video candy there like you would not believe. I think we could really mess with them. I think if there was a team of us, we could really mess with these squatters. I don't know.
I saw one of those. That was great. I mean, burlap hoods and a 5-gallon bucket of water can change the world for somebody. But again, we shouldn't. Yeah, I saw one of those videos, and it's just wild. Like if I owned that piece of property and those people were in it, I would introduce them to some darkness. Interpret how you want. And there's just not enough of that. We have a lot of rope and a lot of trees, and those two items are not coming together near enough. There's a lot of lead and a lot of gunpowder, and those two items aren't being introduced to enough people out there. There's such a depravity. There's such a criminal element. And today, I've been seeing it ramp up, and today, particularly because of the sun and the warmth, the amount of degenerate scumbags that I saw around town today was absolutely mind-blowing. It's like the good old days again. It was mind-blowing. And we have these bleeding hearts with their platitudes of, we know we've talked about it ad nauseum. You don't know their story. Meth and crime, that's their story. It could happen to any one of us. Nope. Not in a million freaking years. You could lose your job and be homeless. Nope, that's not how it works. Does it happen to good people? Absolutely. Is that par for the course? Is that a normal thing? Absolutely not. But we just have these attitudes, this attitude of weakness. Oh my gosh, who is it? There is, in what state, at like 3 o'clock in the morning, I was reading news stories, and I have to find it and screenshot it because it was fascinating to me, where they want to make it a crime to have unoccupied homes. Unoccupied homes are unoccupied property, not a crime per se, but you'll be taxed at an inordinately high rate for those vacant properties if you don't allow squatters, bums, low-income people, or whatever to live in it. It was something like that. If that gets its hold, that'll just ripple through the West Coast, because that's what we do here.
That's the end of private property. You'll never be able to get rid of people, because tell me when isn't a house at some point in time, every house sits empty for a week, 2 weeks. How long does it take? I mean, if you're really good at this squatting, I mean, you could really take in some houses here. This is ridiculous. This is, I forget the movie Pacific Heights. There was a movie about San Francisco where people were stealing people's houses by getting the landlord to react to their negativity and stuff. And as soon as they did, they owned their houses. It's like we've once again turned the criminal into the good guy and the property owner into the bad guy. And to your state about the judges, like you said, it's not the judge. It's not Judge Combs or Judge Stone or any of the other judges. It's the damn laws that they have to go by. They're bullshit.
Yeah, it is. You know, and the West Coast is just, the left coast is just so damaged. And I see a lot of good things. You don't have to like President Trump all the way through. You don't have to like any president all the way through. I like a lot of what the guy's doing. I love the guy. I would lay down my sacred honor and a lot of my health and well-being to protect and defend the man at this point, and for the office for which he stands. And he's doing a lot of good stuff, I feel. But we're seeing pushback, and I think we're going to see pushback on these far leftist states like Oregon, where they're going to not just roll with what he's doing, they're gonna try to make things as extra left as you can. Like, we protect bums here. We protect bums and criminals. We protect sea lions and seals. We protect seagulls and cormorants. Like, all the things that do us harm are the things that we're protecting right now.
No, I know. And it's odd to explain that to people who live in the real world, and they're like, "Oh no,
Yes.
that can't be happening." Yeah, actually, that's happening. That's true. And it's what do you think of the Trump finally making Antifa a domestic terrorist group? I mean, wasn't that great? Because they have always said they're not an organization, but we know better.
God bless America. That one's a no-brainer. That one is an absolute no-brainer. Of course they're a terrorist organization, including the little local chapters that we have here. And that's going to help protect good people. Antifa shows up at your house or your workplace to cause trouble, and you have to do what is your God-given right to do, to take care of some business. You're going to have extra protections on top of you because you were assailed and assaulted by a terrorist organization. You're driving down the road and there's a blockade and these people are laying across the road and they're setting things on fire, and you put it in 4 low and you're 4 high probably, and you go through and you make mud puddles out of all of them. You're going to have extra protections.
Right. What can you say? They're domestic terrorists. They were trying to kidnap me and hijack me in the middle of the street. What the hell
Absolutely.
was I supposed to do, man? Yeah.
Gentlemen, I hate to do this. I've got 19 minutes to get on deck where I'm heading, and I've got about a 15-minute drive to it. So love you guys. Genuinely, you guys are, you're rock stars. You are rock stars. My friends, let's do this again soon when I'm not tapped for time. I don't know when that is.
You got it, Doug. You take care, Mr.
Brothers,
Washington.
pleasure. Love you guys. Bye.
Take care. All right. You didn't say a damn word. That was impressive.
It's all good. I like listening to him. Sir Doug's
He is a natural. He is a natural. And when he got on the radio and stuff, it was like, wow. I hope he doesn't go too far into politics, because he is good. He is really good. And I know he likes politics, but he doesn't like getting too far into the minutia, because he also likes having a life. And it seems like politics has taken over a lot of our lives, and it's unfortunate. And that's why I had you on here to talk about what has been happening in the Republican Party. We got a civil war kind of going on. And Chris, I have got to give you kudos. I want you to tell everyone what you did, but it was badass. And you did it through old-fashioned shoe leather express. You know what I mean? You hit the streets and you knocked on doors. That was badass. And I'll let you take it from there.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell the whole story for someone who might be totally out of context, kind of coming in late. But essentially where we're at with the Republican Party, there's locally in Coos County, there's 2 factions. There's people who want to kind of keep things going the way they're going, which it's not really going. We're not really winning elections. We're not raising a lot of money. They just want to go to the fair booths and the parades and kind of do that thing. And it's not really relevant. It's not really working. Anyways, and then there's another faction that is like, let's do something new, like in general, but like they also have ideas. They're not just like saying let's do something new. They have ideas, they have energy, they're actually doing some of the things they want to do on their own, but that's not really collaborative and connected. And it loses its flavor if it's not branded as the Republican Party. Like, say I send out a mailer, or if I organize an event and it's just like Friends of Chris Castleman or Rob, or even if we label it as conservative, it does have a different flavor, instead of like, hey, it's the Republican Party. People know what the Republican Party is, so they gravitate towards that stuff. So you got a faction that is essentially hijacked the Republican Party. It's their little elitist country club, and they like to go to the parades and the fair and, wear the red t-shirt, and it makes them feel important. It makes them feel like they're doing something for the county. But I'm a results-oriented guy, and when you look at the results, that's pretty much all they've accomplished is they've created a little club. So anyways, so we've been trying for, I don't know what, you've been trying shit for decades, but
Yeah.
I've been trying pretty hardcore for the past year. I was elected vice chair in November, and they just haven't gone for anything. They have a little majority, like maybe a 55 or 60% majority they've kind of held all year. So any sort of request has just been denied. And it kind of came to a head this summer when we tried to add people to the party, right? So there's a precinct committee person is the title. It's a voting member. It's your like entry level into politics, entry level into the Republican Party. You're a neighborhood representative, right? You represent your precinct, and we wanted to add more because we have only a quarter of those positions filled, and there's, like you've mentioned, they've been doing it for decades. If you come to the meeting and you want to kind of fill that vacancy, they allow you and they appoint you to that vacancy. So we tried adding that in May, and then in July, and then they started adjourning meetings, canceling meetings. So here we sit in September, pretty much haven't done anything all year, haven't added any new people to the party all year, and we are at a complete stalemate. I've had my Republican Party email account locked. I've been had my phone number and my Facebook blocked by executive board members, namely the chair. And so there's no way to communicate. They don't hold any meetings anymore. They don't hold regular meetings. They don't hold executive team meetings. And so a couple of us were sitting around. Sorry, that was a really long explanation, but I'm just trying to
We needed
cover
that.
it because
Perfect.
some people don't have any context. But we were just, it was like the end of the road, I guess, right? Like, I guess we just sit around until the May election and wait to see if there are any more meetings, because normally the chair has full control over meetings. So if the chair doesn't want to have meetings, then we can't have meetings, and if we can't have meetings, then we can't make any decisions. We can't add new people to the party. We can't designate how funds should be spent or what events we go to or plan anything. So I was looking through the bylaws, and I found that if you there was a clause in the bylaws that you could have a petition meeting if you can get consensus from more than 50% of the voting members. So we didn't have it. I mean, we kind of went through that list last week, and what did we come up with? 20. We were like, we think 20 maybe out of the 49
Yep.
would be agreeable to having a meeting to add more members to the party.
Yep.
And I just went, it's worth it. It's worth it to try, because a lot of these, more than half these people I've never met in my life. So we get a list of like these 49 precinct committee people, and I've never met them. I don't know who they are. And I'm the vice chair, and I've been going to all the meetings, which that in of itself is bizarre. But I said, hey, maybe that's an opportunity, because they've been told all sorts of lies, I'm sure, about who I am and who you are and what we do. And so at the very least, it's an opportunity to meet some new people. And maybe one step above that, I'd get to talk to them about some things. And then a step above that, maybe they'd actually be agreeable to having a meeting. Maybe they either haven't heard what's going on because no one talks to them, or maybe they've been listening but they agree with us. So anyway, so I went around, I went through that list, and I drove all over the county the past week. Started on Tuesday, I think, and spent like every ounce of free time I had until late into the evening, driving around, doing old-fashioned door knocking, driving up some long driveways and just knocking on people's doors and, hello, hi, I'm Chris Castleman. Definitely kind of awkward. Some people were very upset with me. They've been told a bunch of lies, and they're very mad at me for things I've never done or never said. But that's where people put their loyalty in other people, and when they hear things, they believe it. And it was kind of unfortunate that some people didn't even want to listen to my side, but that's fine. But I found some people who they don't even know that there's meetings. They've never been contacted, which is like, that's problematic.
That's
The
huge.
chair is supposed to give notice, 10 days
Yeah.
notice for every meeting to every member in the party. Otherwise, any business at that meeting is invalid, right? So there have been people that have alleged this, that like it doesn't get out to the whole membership, that the chair has not been given, this chair and the prior chair have not been given notice to everybody. And how do you prove that, right? I didn't know. I mean, it didn't seem that way, because we'd have a meeting, right, with like 15 people who show up. So
Right.
It doesn't seem like everybody got notice. Well, by going around and talking to all these people, I know for a fact they're not getting notice. I talked to some people that have never received any contact this entire year from the party. So like, anyways, it's crazy. I think eventually I'll probably go back and get like an affidavit signed from them, because we're actually litigating some of this now in court. The chair has made statements and the secretary have made statements that said that they have given notice to all the members. And now I know that that's not true. Well, I don't know. I'm hearing this from somebody. They say I have not received a text, a phone call, an email, or
Right.
mail. I am inclined to believe them.
Me too.
I don't know how you would prove otherwise, but maybe
Well,
maybe they don't check their email. But
why would they lie when you're doing a cold call to their house and
Yep.
they really don't know what's going on? Why would they lie? There's no reason for them to lie or make up shit. You know what I mean? I mean, the other side has a reason, because they think they're going after us, but the people
Yep.
who are neutral, they have no reason to lie whatsoever. Odd. This is odd, man.
And then some people, so when we went through that list, we found like 20 people that we were like, we're pretty sure these people, want to move the party in the direction we do, and add more events, add more members, things like that. Well, it turns out, so I was like, I need 25 signatures. That's what I needed to force this meeting, right? I needed 25. 25 was my goal. So I'm like, I think I can do it. I can flip five people from the other side. Well, the first day I'm out, I flipped 6 people, and I was like, holy smokes, I got it. And I didn't go to the people that are on our side first, because I was like, obviously those are easy. I'm going to go to the hardest people first and see where I go. And it worked. I'm like, wow, like, showing up, talking, having dialogue with people, all of a sudden they understand. And they're like, yeah, that's not cool. We should be having meetings. We should be adding more people. And some of them were even like, hey, Chris, like, you have a style that I don't really approve of. You're definitely a different breed. And some of the stuff you do or say, I don't really appreciate, and that's fine. But they're like, but we need to add members of the party, right? So we found common ground and got the petition signed. But then on day 2, I go out and I go to the people that I was pretty sure would be signing this thing. And it turns out 5 of those people did not want to sign. So I went from having like 20 sure signatures to 15. And all of a sudden I lost all my ground. So, but I got it done on Saturday. I reached 25 signatures, broke their alliance, broke their, little group. So.
And you found
Sorry, what were you
out
gonna say?
who. Oh, I said you found out who was going to vote in favor of getting PCPs in there and who wasn't. That was really, to me, wow, we know those people are there. It's almost, now, why can't we just have a meeting? Why can't we, other than having, because we have to have a quorum for the executive board. Am I missing
Yeah,
something?
so this is where the games begin, right? You'd think if people are adults and they're professional and they care about Coos County, this would be really simple, right? I have proved that there is a majority consensus in our organization that was duly elected that wants to add more people to the party. I can probably put the petition up on the screen. Let me, how do I do this?
You got it. Yeah. And I was so impressed with that. I was just absolutely blown away. I had to count it twice just to make sure. I was like, there's no way.
I counted it like 6 times. I was like, I'm going to be a real big ass if I send this and there's only 24
There's only
signatures somehow,
24. Yeah. But damn, man, that was good. And it was all because you were waiting in people's driveways, knocking on people's doors. And the one story that I liked that you told was about the girl who never came back to a meeting because of the way they treated you at a work session. Would you relay that story to the listeners?
Yeah. So it was actually the last signature I gathered. And it was the last person I had on my list that I was able to talk to. There were 3 people I didn't talk to because no one has any contact information for them. By the way, like I've asked since day one for contact information for these people, and the chair has denied it. Like
Right.
we even voted as an executive committee for me to get phone numbers for people, and we voted that would be a thing that I need to have contact information, and he still hasn't provided them. Like that's how crazy it has been from day one. And so all I had were these people's addresses. So that's all I could do is show up at their house. So and there's 3 people at one residence out in Fairview, and their house is so far back off the road and it's completely fenced in and gated. I mean, I parked on the side of the road and just stood there for a little bit, hoping like maybe someone would come outside or go riding by on a horse and I could
please. Right.
But they didn't. So, and I've reached out to neighbors that I know, and we're still trying to get a hold of them because I still want to talk to everybody no matter what, right? But anyways, to answer your question, so the last signature, it was like the last name I had that I hadn't talked to, and she had attended the work session in January, and she said it was her first time as a PCP. She had been elected and she wanted to come and start getting involved because she was really excited about events and getting involved and meeting like-minded people. And she said she was so turned off by the organization, by the meeting, by the disorganization within the organization, that she said, I decided I was never going to come back. I came home, I told my husband, like, I'm never going back to that. That was crazy. And she specifically brought up the fact that like, she really liked what I had to say. And when I would stand up, she's like, you would present well, you would articulate like your opinion, your idea, and in a calm, normal way, and explain yourself. And then the reaction to you, she's like, that's what really just got me. That like they were almost hostile, that it was like any idea that you had was like taboo. And it's like, right, that was my first meeting ever. And anyways, and then she specifically talked about the website. I don't know if I've ever talked about the website thing on here, but I've been offering the Republican Party a website since before I was even a member. This was like 2 summers ago.
And hold on, before you go any further, because I know you're probably not going to blow your own horn here, but you are someone who's actually designed websites for pretty significant companies. And it's not like you're someone who anyone with no web design, like the Republican Party has no one there. You would think they would go, oh, hey, we got someone here who's actually experienced and done this. Let's get him to do our website. Continue with the story, because you're someone who actually knows what
that on top of us just having a crappy website. Like if we had a good website, I don't need to waste my time to redo it. Right. I mean, if it's good, it's good. And there's a lot of programs out there, a lot of third party, like easy to you can click and move and stuff, and they give you a good template. So there's no need for me to develop something. It's just like the person in charge can't even use those tools, right? Like the chair doesn't have enough stylistic sense and content sense, and there's misspelled words, and the content's not even updated. Like it's an event, it's a meeting from like six months ago, things like that. So there's a lot going on that's more than just graphics and font. But anyway, so I offered them, hey, I do that. I do social media. I do all these things that I can really help with. I put together events. I do outreach. Use me for my talents. And I was told repeatedly, this was after becoming vice chair, I was told repeatedly, hey, pump the brakes, kid. Wait till January. We're going to have a work session and you can bring it all up then. And I'm like, okay, but like, can we get the website? That's a pretty big discussion. Can we get the website on the agenda? Yes. Chair said, yes, I'll get it on there. we will talk about it. Wait till January. And I'm like, I'm a little annoyed that you're putting me off. Because mind you, I went home after I got elected vice chair, because I mentioned the website and people were like, yeah. I went home and developed it in like 3 days. And so it was already built like in November, 3
Let me
days
ask
in.
you. Let me ask you. So I know how I am when I get into one of these websites and I'm doing something really cool that I want to throw together. I mean, I built my first website and I built my second one for the Rob Taylor Report. And it's cool to do that. You get into it, you kind of like geek out on it and you get into it for like hours. Did you do this same similar thing? You put a lot of work and time into this, right?
Oh yeah, the first night I think I like started at like, I don't know, right after dinner, like 7 o'clock, and I was still working on it at like 3 in the morning. It's just one of those things you like get locked in and you're so excited about it. You've got all that energy and you just do it. And then I spent the next couple days just kind of cleaning it up. But like they just pretty much gave me the finger, right? They said
Right.
like, wait till January. Like, anyways, so I go into this meeting in January and it's not on the agenda. And we're talking about like, we're like an hour in, we're still talking about like what fair booth we want to do. Like stuff that they always do. And it's not anything new. It's not going to move us closer to our goal. It's just the normal stuff. And so finally I raised my hand. I said, hey, can we talk about the website? Because it was under like new ideas or new events or something like that. And I'm like, well, what about the website? Like that's a new thing. And I was told, no, we're not going to talk about that today. That's for another day. And I'm like, another day? Like this is the work session.
Right.
So I'm like, really? Like we can't talk about it? And Michael, the chair, was like, Chris, stop interrupting. Like it was like, apparently I was being rude. I was being rude. And so I just said, really, you're gonna make me do this? So I was like, I motion to discuss the website. Like, we have to be. And he goes, we're not entertaining motions right now. We're not in a real meeting. It's like, my God, you're such an idiot. And so like this half-hour argument erupted over whether or not I could even motion to discuss a website I've already built that's already way better than what we have. I mean, like, this is day one. This is meeting number one. That's already been delayed 2 months after election. Trump won big in November. We won Congress. Like, we had so much momentum. And that was another thing. I was like, why are we not having a meeting like in December, like early December before the holidays, or at least an executive meeting to like kind of like keep this momentum going? No, we have to wait till January. So it's like, anyways, we waited way too long. And then we're like arguing over whether or not Chris can motion to discuss the website. Finally, by the way, that motion passed unanimously except for one vote, which was Michael. I believe it was like one or two people. Michael voted no. He didn't want to talk about it. So it's like all of that wasted time and tension just to have the room say, yes, we want to talk about it. And then we talked about it. and there was again unanimous consent that Chris should go ahead and keep developing it. And I wanted it to be collaborative. So I don't know if I articulated that it was like built. I wanted people to have the opportunity to have input. So I didn't want to just like shove a product on them. So, I kind of asked for permission to build it, like as if it was like going to be a collaborative thing. And it would be, but I didn't, you know what I mean? Like I didn't want to just shove it in their face and say, this is how it's going to be, accepted or not. So I asked to be able to bring it back up at another meeting, like present it and have people, give feedback. And that's what we voted on. It was almost unanimous. And it was never put back on the agenda until I think it was like 3 months later. It was put on the agenda. And we got into a whole argument again over it.
Right.
It was like, guys, somebody made a comment at one point that said, why do we need another website? Chris, can't you just develop your own and then we'll just have two? Like we'll keep the one we have and then you can have yours. It was like, what? No, we're deciding whether we want a new one. So I don't think people got it. And at that point, so much had happened between January and then the moment when they were like, yeah, we want Chris to develop the website. I wasn't. I was also asking for like social media access. I wasn't given it. There were so many things that were like, you obviously don't trust me.
Right.
You
Because you
obviously
were
don't
never
trust
made,
me.
they never made you a PCP. Don't forget that as well.
Right. I'm asking from day one, can you guys approve me as PCP? Like our body voted to elect me vice chair. They would absolutely vote to appoint me a PCP. Can we put it up for a vote? Nope. We don't want Chris to be able to have a vote. Can you believe that? Like I don't get a vote. Like I'm vice chair and I don't get to vote. So that was the kinds of games they played, and they didn't want me to have social media access. They have since revoked my social
Yeah.
media access.
Yeah.
They gave it to me because we had to vote on it. I brought it up for a vote and said in an executive meeting, like, can we at least vote and see if there's consensus around Chris Castleman having social media access? And it passed.
And it
And now
passed, but
Michael's revoked it without
with,
another vote. There's been no
without
other vote.
another vote. I was just going to say, how does he
Yep.
bitches because you're not following Paula. You're not following the format. You're not following the rules, whatever the hell he comes up with. And yet everything you're doing is perfectly fine within Robert's rules. And
Yep. I got
here he is,
like
literally.
this is how nerdy I am.
himself. Yeah.
I have the
Oh,
book
wow.
sitting here so I can constantly, and I talk with the state parliamentarian.
Mm.
I was in the student senate in college. What's that?
They got YouTube for that.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
Google is a good asset. They have AI too now, which helps. Can't always trust it, but no, it's
good. Yeah.
I don't know how much people really care to hear about all this. It's just insane. And the website's built, it's ready to go. But like, if Michael doesn't trust me enough to even answer my phone calls, he's not gonna take my website and publish it and allow me to keep updating it. And that was it. Again, it wasn't just the website. It's like we need a new website manager, somebody to manage that content. It needs to be up to date. The moment we know when the meeting is going to be, it needs to be published on the website, and the information needs to be accurate. People in Coos County should be able to Google like Republican Party meeting, and it should take them right to our website, and it should have the next meeting date, not a stale meeting date.
And that sounds to me like something you would want your vice chair to do, because the chair would be doing other things within the functioning of the party. Am I off there? Because that seems like that would be the perfect thing for you to be doing.
Or the secretary, and have me build a website that the secretary can easily manage, like content management. And that was another thing I wanted to do, so that other people could have access to this stuff and keep it updated. Photos, like, if somebody takes photos from an event or wants to write up a blog post, we should be able to get this information out as fast as possible. The social media and the website should be collaborative, like whoever, if it's two people, they should be working together so stuff is posted at the same rate. Email campaigns, things like this is real life. This is how businesses succeed. And essentially they've thumbed their nose at it and said, no, we do not want to modernize the Republican Party. We do not want to have an outreach campaign. We do not want to add new members. We do not want to improve. And all that collectively tells me they do not want to succeed. And who in this county do you think would not want the Republican Party to succeed? I think it starts with a D, ends with Democrats. I mean, that's the only conclusion I can come to. Like, are you secret operatives for the other side? Because none of this shit makes sense. Like, is the only thing you like about the Republican Party the red t-shirt? Like, is that I just don't get it. But anyways, all this circles back to having to execute on this petition the past week, because we've completely reached a stalemate.
Hold on. Kick ass. You got 25 people to sign a petition proving that most of the people really want to go through with this process.
Yes.
And in a minute, I also want you to talk about what it also may prove, that they never had the 25 people to do a recall against Danessa or you as the vice chair. And I'll let you continue with your thought.
Well, so yeah, you mentioned the recall. They tried to recall us a couple weeks ago, and they wouldn't give us the petition. So like, I did this petition. the moment it was ready to go, I emailed it to the whole executive board and a couple of PCPs. And if anybody is in the Republican Party and they want to see the signed petition, I will freely give it to you. Right. I'm not going to show it on the screen because that's people's like phone numbers and stuff. And
Right.
this is honestly like very political. It's like people are taking sides. So like I don't need to like signature shame anybody. But the thing is I'm more than happy to share the actual petition, not only the signatures, but here, like you people can read very clearly the intent of the petition. And when they did our recall, they handed out a 4-page document about Dinesh and I, which, by the way, if anybody gets a hold of this document and reads it, it's complete garbage. It is absolute slander. I'm not a litigious person. I forgive you, Lord, you know, whoever put that 4-pager together. I forgive you. Whatever. You guys are nuts. It's complete lies. But just if anybody reads that, keep that in mind, that like it's crazy. It's like the Donald Trump Russian dossier sort of slander. But anyway, so they put this 4-pager out to people, but only on their side, right? They only went around to people who like they know would be receptive to lies. And then they collected signatures. So they won't give us the 4-pager and they won't give us the signature sheets either. So I'm out there when I'm talking to people, they were pretty open about whether they signed that recall or whether they even knew of its existence. And I didn't talk to more than like 15 people who knew of its existence.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely questioning it. They wouldn't give it to us. They wouldn't give it to a judge. They would not give their recall petition to a judge. That's shady. But
I told you that. Yep.
So, but yeah,
That's
you were mentioning the like consensus.
Yeah.
What it proves is that the executive team and specifically the chair have been operating against the consensus, against the will of the party,
Right.
certainly against the will of the elected, you know, neighborhood precinct people. But I mean, I've been out there talking with the public and they are against this, like obviously very much against this. But even if you just take the small 49 elected PCPs, they are against the stifling of the party. So you mentioned like what happens now? Why can't we have a meeting? Because if people can read this, it mentions a meeting next Tuesday. Well, it turns out if you read the bylaws there, it says the last line, a petition meeting shall be called by the secretary when requested by 51% of the voting membership. So I have the petition. I handed it off to the secretary. It is apparently up to the secretary to call the meeting. And I don't know what that entails. Does she get to pick the time and the date? I gave a suggested time and date, and I gave it to her with enough notice. She could have given 10 days notice to the party, which is like the actual official notice for normal meetings. I booked the room. I've done everything I could to make it easy for them. And, you know, I gave it on Saturday and they have not responded, but they've since responded to other emails for other things. So like that have been sent after. There was an email that went around last night and this morning, and they've replied to that one, but they won't reply to this petition. I've called the secretary. I called her Saturday night. I called her a little bit ago. I texted her. She called me back, but I think it was a butt dial because it like rang and then ended. And then I called her back. Nothing. I mean, this is where we're at. They're playing games. If anybody listening to this is a PCP, they're playing games with you. And if anybody's not a PCP, who's just simply a Republican, or anyone who's democratically concerned with what is going on in this county, they're playing games. They think this is all a joke. They think, you know, your government and how it operates and how politics work in this county is a joke and a game, and it's insane. I don't know what more to say.
It ticks me out. It just ticks me off because we're ready to get into the election season. We've got several candidates who are potentials for being backed by us as a party. If we got in there collectively as a party, we get to decide on that. We get to decide who's going to be the people we get behind, which ones in the primary, because we have to stay neutral in the primary, but we got to find out who the primary candidates are and where we're going to be with those people, because we got to vet those candidates. We got to find out which one is actually better and stuff. And the best way to do that is to have a party that's functioning, where we have meetings where these candidates get to speak. Is any of that going to get to happen? I ask you, Lourdes, please, if you're watching this, please tell me, what are we going to do? Michael, if you have an answer, we're willing to hear it. We're willing to listen to it. And you have stifled the entire situation. And then they got mad at us. And I don't know who commented on this. Well, it was Michael. And I think it was social media, where he doesn't take these internal fightings into the public. And yet that was the only avenue we had left to be able to try to achieve something new in the party. And we had to bring out all this dirty laundry, which we didn't want to do, but we did, because it was one of the few ways that we had left to put pressure on the party establishment to start letting people in there. And I don't think it was a mistake. I don't think it was wrong, because I think people want to know what's going on in their political parties. I think we should be transparent, and we're going to continue to be transparent, because I'm always going to report on the Republican Party no matter what. So I don't know what the problem is, other than they're doing this intentionally. And is it for the Democrats? Is it for turncoat Republicans? Is it for the establishment? Is it because they're just stubborn and they're dug in because they believe what they believe? I freaking don't know, man.
Yeah, or just their own ego. Well, I do have an update. So I did just get a text back from the secretary right now while we were talking. And it says, I will send you an email with all the details and the reasons why this meeting on the 30th is not possible due to the bylaws. And it says, she says, it is a private meeting. So I don't know what that means. Apparently she's reading something I'm not. There's nothing in the bylaws that says this should be a private meeting. Literally, that one-liner is all that pertains to a petition meeting.
Right.
But, I'm not a lawyer, so we'll see. People are playing games and they're about to win a bunch of stupid prizes. That's all I can say.
Let's talk about the stupid prizes. And if I ask anything that's over the line or you can't discuss because you are in litigation, let me know. But what consequences does the chair specifically, does the secretary, and does the party face any legal consequences or financial consequences for when or if they lose this case?
I mean, in general, if you lose a case, you can sue, or if you win a case, you can sue for
Right.
reimbursement for your lawyer fees. So the loser would have to pay the lawyer fees, and that's pretty darn common in any sort of case. Like, say I filed a restraining order against you and it was all made up in lies, and you fought and won that restraining order. I'd have to pay you your lawyer fees for having to put up with that bullshit.
That's the way I
or vice versa. If you're harassing the crap out of me and I had to, go to court and hire a lawyer to get you to stay back, vice versa. But anyways, so so there's litigation. The initial litigation is over blocking the recall because it was not done properly, right? Like, we're not getting proper notice in time. We're not getting the petition. The recall is also an attempt to just kick us out of the party and not bring new people in. That's what they're alleging, is that we're trying to bring new people, and I guess that's bad. But anyways, so yes, if they lose the case, they could, and we could as well. We might have to pay for their legal fees, right? But they could have to pay for ours. And right now we're talking, the bill's over $10,000 so far. So that's not something. If I was advising them, it's like, I'd be like, guys, this isn't worth it. Like, why would you? Over what? Like, he's doing everything by the book. He has a petition now to have the meeting. Just have the meeting and like ask them to drop the case and move on, right? That would be like my advice to them. Obviously, I'm biased, but I mean, why would you antagonize someone to keep racking up legal fees that you might have to pay someday? I don't know Lourdes and Michael that well. I don't know if they're independently wealthy. The case, by the way, is not against Lourdes. Lourdes has
Right.
filed information with the case because she's the secretary, so she has to make declarations and stuff. But if information in those declarations is not accurate, like if you're fibbing a little, there's like contempt of court, there's perjury, things like that. So like if you're saying, hey, we have 25 signatures, but you don't, things don't add up, you might end up in some trouble. But I don't know if that's the case. I would hope that they have a full petition if they were attempting to recall people. But yeah. Steve, I mean, right. It's so Steve's mentioning that in May, because we're all going to be on the ballot in May. So anybody watching, if you want to be one of these precinct committee people, you can do it yourself. You can get on the ballot, Google SEL 105, and it should pull up the form for Oregon. You can fill it out online. Call the elections office if you want to know your precinct number, but it's also on your voter registration. But anyways, you can get on the ballot. If you're a registered Republican, you can be on the ballot. And in May, with just 3 votes from your neighbors, you become a PCP, assuming there are enough spots. So like say your precinct allows for 20 spots and there's only 15 people on the ballot, you're going to win as long as you get three votes. And that's pretty much how it's worked for, I don't think there's been very many contested PCP races. But anyway, so that's going to happen. We already have all these people who are trying, like Steve's trying to become a PCP. He's going to be on the May ballot, right? And he's almost guaranteed to become a PCP in May, but we're trying to get him involved now. Like he wants to be involved. He's been at the meetings. He's a great guy. He's a great asset. He's a great representative of his community. Him and I might disagree on like topic to topic, but that's good. And we have dialogue about it and we find the best option and the consensus and we move forward. Like that's what this is all about. And they're denying Steve. They don't want to approve Steve's application, which he has had in since May, this past May. Right. It's like and Nicole's mentioning that her and her husband, Commissioner Rod Taylor, have approached the chair with their application and he has avoided taking it. Right. And now we've turned it in. Nicole turned in her own to the clerk's office, but then I forwarded it off to the chair and said, hey, these people have talked to me and they want to become appointed PCPs. So not only are Nicole and Rod going to be on the May ballot, but they would like to be appointed now to start working with the party now. And it's just absolutely wild. If you know these people are going to be officially involved with the party in May, why? What could you gain? What are you going to do in the next couple months that is so important that you don't want these people involved in it? And why would you not want them involved in whatever it is if it is important? Like sitting commissioner?
A sitting
school
commissioner,
board members, fire district people, transportation district people have won elections by a plurality of the entire voting population, not just Republicans, and they don't want them involved. That's mind-blowing.
These were county-wide districts, 2 of them that I can think of that were county-wide districts. These are people. The transit district is county-wide. Yeah, I think it is.
Yep.
And so that's 2. The commissioner and the transit elected officials are county-wide voted on by the county. Everyone in every voter in the county gets to vote for these people. How much more of a representation can you have than people who already voted these 2 individuals into office? I mean, it's insulting to them. It's insulting to the people who voted for them, who are in the precincts that they would represent. And Michael, you should be ashamed of yourself because this is absolutely horrible. And Lourdes, I don't think you're the type of person who would sign a legal document that you thought was incorrect or a lie. I just don't think you would do that. I've met you once, maybe twice. I don't think you're the type of person who would sign a document that you thought that you had any suspicion of being wrong. So I'm telling you, I think that some of those names on those documents might not be good. You might want to check that out. you might want to find out for
Yeah.
yourself. And I'm not saying one way or another because I don't know, but I know Chris, he went out, he knocked on the doors, he talked to the people, and you haven't. And you haven't been contacting those people. You need to do something about it because there are those like Rod Schilling and higher up in the party who will flat out lie to you to protect themselves. I just want you to know
I even
that.
had people put their phone numbers above their when they printed their name. I had them put their phone numbers in case Lourdes or Michael, whoever wanted to verify, they could call them, and talk to
Right,
them. Be like, hey, did Chris stop by and actually get your signature? And they'll be like,
right.
he sure did. He's a nice young man. Hopefully. But
And let me ask you,
um
were most of these people elderly, very elderly people?
no, actually not. And that was what was
Wow.
cool is like it was like 50-50. Because that's what I
Okay.
thought, right? I'm just seeing names, I have no clue. And I just assumed, yeah, who like wants to be involved. But like we were talking about that last lady I went to. Nope, she's I don't know, a little older than me, younger than you, nurse, I believe. I mean, she's very much with it and wanting to be involved, energetic, and nope. But even I talked to somebody, I don't know, she had to have been in her 80s, and she's totally with it. She said she's been a
Yeah.
PCP since the 70s, and I was like, that's cool. And she was very, very mad at me at first. She chewed me
Faye
out for a couple
Alberson.
things.
That's
Yep,
Faye Alberson.
she
She was
chewed
a
me out,
little upset
and
with me and her. My son worked for her and her son on her farm and ranch. So I we know
okay,
the
that was a
Alberson.
beautiful, beautiful property for sure.
Yeah, yeah. She
Um,
was part of her ranch was on the list of ranches that the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service wanted for the
mhm.
Bandon Marsh expansion. And we worked with her. I worked diligently with all those families up there to stop that. And we did it the same way as we did the wind turbines. We put it on the ballot and we were very successful at winning that. And that's what's upsetting when I see people like Faye Albersons who goes along with Michael Brainerd because she's not allowed or not choosing to listen to your side. And that's frustrating.
Yeah, I think she appreciated that I made the effort, to talk to her and listen to her. I pretty much I asked every person like, what is your advice? Like, I want to know from you, like, what's your advice on how we can fix this? What's your advice on how I could have done better to not get us in this situation? I love hearing people's ideas and talking with them. And at times I had to add some context for people who were
Right.
unaware. Some of these people had never been to a meeting. Some of them had been to a couple and kind of just missed. It was like a Swiss cheese version of real events. Anyway, but no, Faye mentioned the marsh stuff that you worked on with her, and that was pretty cool. She appreciated that. So,
Oh, wait a minute. She
um,
mentioned that?
oh
That
yeah,
is just
yeah,
wow.
she was very fond
Wow.
of you guys working together, and because we were talking about, has there always been two factions? Has this always been a persistent issue, or is it just a now issue? And it's unfortunately kind of sounds like it's been a thing maybe the past 5-10 years.
Five to
So
10 years. No, but it's gotten worse over the last
I'm
four
in the
years.
genesis of it. Yeah, the main part of it's been I don't know past 2 to 4 years.
It's
It's gotten
yeah.
crazy.
It's gotten
Um,
crazy, and I feel sorry for Faye because I don't think that you're telling her the truth, and I should go and talk with her and sit down with her because she's a wonderful lady. She has a wonderful family, and like I said, we work diligently with her, and I don't know why these people are thinking that somehow I've got nefarious plans for the party. I just want to come in there and get the party functioning again, and the guy that's in charge is not allowing that to happen. And how much
right.
more do we have to show you than, let's see, we've got 34 people right now who are signed up with the clerk to be PCPs in the May election. You got 25, count them, 25 current PCPs to say that they want to vote in a meeting to appoint those PCPs, those other 32 or 34 who are at the clerk's office.
And
And
that was
they're
25
not
who
doing it.
were willing to put their name on this. There
Yes.
were maybe 4 or 5 that agreed wholeheartedly. but because of some of the political stuff that's been going on, some of the attacks that Dinesh and I have received, they don't want their name on this. They're scared. They're like, I don't need that kind of drama. I don't need Michael and these other people to start coming after me because they think I'm trying to, do something to the party and all the allegations that have been made. But yeah, that was definitely something that was brought up. You kind of bounced around it, but the David Brock Smith thing that was brought up by these people who have just been hearing a lot from the other side. They were like under the impression that this is something to do with us trying to like kick David Brock Smith out of the party or something, or just kind of like get at him or something. And it has nothing to do with that. Honestly, I could care less about David Brock Smith. I mean, I don't appreciate some of the things he's done. I don't think he's a good leader for us. I don't think he's a good representative. But this petition has nothing to do with David Brock Smith. Us adding people to the party has nothing to do with David Brock Smith. I don't even like bringing him up because it's just such a distraction, and we have way bigger things to focus on. We've got an election in May for 2 commissioners, a sheriff, a clerk. We have, I believe, a House representative seat, and then in the fall we've got many other positions, city council positions and things like that. So Steve's mentioned here about the email thing, and I've thought about that too. Like, yeah, like maybe they don't check out their mail, or they went in their junk mail, or they don't check their email or something, or they missed a phone call. So, these people are saying, I haven't heard anything from the Republican Party. Maybe they have missed a few things, but the numbers, like the amount of people that said that, like, I've never heard anything from the Republican Party, and that's a little weird, like, I don't think people would just.
There are only 48 people, and I know the program that I have, when I send it out, it tells me how many people answers my emails. Right. And I would
it's red.
Yeah. And so I would go back out of 48. If 10 people didn't answer, I would probably call those 10 people and say, hey, I noticed you didn't get it. Is it going to your mail? Right. Are you not answering? Is it going to your trash? What's going on here? And I would want to know something. What's happening? And once again, this just shows how little they care about moving forward. They don't even do that. And I mean, we're out here gathering petition signatures, and someone just did something to one of the signatures where I have to contact everyone on there and have them re-sign the petition. And you go through this whole process because why else would you be doing this if you didn't want it correct? If you didn't want those people's signatures to get in, why would you do this? So now, because of something someone did on a signature sheet, I have to go contact all those people. That's 10 people. Why can't they do something as simple as send out that email, find out who's not answering, and contact those people? Because you and I know Diane has said they haven't contacted her. Richard Anderson has told me they haven't contacted him. And it's like, why are we doing this? If they're going to be playing this game to the point where nobody's, even the 48, the 49, however many, aren't even getting contacted. That should be a sign of this judge.
Emailed the whole executive team at one point. I just said, look, I have access, because I was set up with an email account for the Republican Party. And in it, I can see the list that Michael emails. When the email goes out to the party, it's only a list of 21 emails. There's 49 people. So I, said, hey, by the way, people, do you know that this list is only 21 people? Like, where are the rest of them? Why are we all not getting emails? And Michael replied back to it and said, like, who's missing? Like, who? Like, tell me who. And it's like, shouldn't you know? But anyway, So I gave him 2 names, Diane Rich and Carol Yardley. And he was like, okay, well, I'll add them to the list then. And it's like, boom, right there. There's your proof. Because you would have said, no, I gave them an email. I sent it to them separately. That's why you can't see it or something, right? It's like such a doofus to admit to that, right? And then after months and months of denying it. So we know that they're not sending a full email list. They're not calling people. When they have big votes, they call all their people. They call like their people that they know are going to vote their way. And all of a sudden a meeting goes from having like 10 to 15 PCPs to having like 30 or 40. Right. But there's always this 10 to 15 that are like missing that no one knows about. Well, now we know them. And it turns out They're like-minded. They want to be involved. They're going to be coming to the next meeting. But this is the games they play. They're trying, like, I'm going and talking to these people, and they're seeing that I booked the room for September 30th at Tuesday at 6 p.m. And they're like, so this is when the meeting's going to be. And it's like, how embarrassing that I have to tell these people that, like, well, actually, because I know the secretary and the chair and how they operate, it's probably not going to be at that time, even though I'm going to do my due diligence to give them the petition in time. And I've already booked the room and done everything under my power and within my professional capacity to do, but it's probably not going to happen. And then here I got the text. It's like, it's not going to happen. They're going to play games. They're going to reschedule it. They're probably going to try and deny quorum. It's going to get postponed like 6 times. I mean, they're going to play so many games, and they're just spitting in all your faces. That's what they're doing. And over what? What do they gain from this? What do they gain?
I have no idea. This is
They get
bizarre.
to keep their cool club from now till May? Is that
Right.
what they gain? Like, it's
Um,
insane.
Okay, and we talked about some of the reasons for the factions is that one, it seems to be a religious thing, which is weird because the majority of the people who want to be appointed, 99% of them are Christians. So I don't know what the problem is, right? And so that's silly. And so I have to go back to it's because of their loyalty to the senators and the representatives in these districts that Coos County are in, who are just, they're protecting them. They're loyal to them. And I think that's part of the problem. And they are afraid that eventually that is going to get targeted. And you and I have already discussed this. The first thing we have to look forward to is the May election. They're not giving us any time. And that may be part of their design, is that they don't want to give us any time. They want to waste up all our energy, all our money, all that we have in this huge fight with them to just get the party back to the people. And by that time, we won't have energy to, or anything, any resources left to expunge on the actual campaigns or moving forward or trying to correct the wrongs that were done from the past, which is at the last of the list. And I think that's exactly what people should know that we're focusing on.
Well, and it's insane. I mean, when you think about it, you go down that rabbit hole. Like, what kind of person would want to do that? And it's like, you're either a Democrat operative or you're so filled with hate and ego that you can't see the writing on the wall, that the consensus of the public is that we want to move in a different direction. So either of those are bad. And if somebody has a third option, please explain it to me. I've been waiting for an explanation all year. I would love for there to be some reasonable, rational way to explain this away, that these are just good people looking out for the heart of Coos County here. But yeah, Steve, yes, email list. How easy is an email list? And again, if you don't have everybody's email, a phone chain, good old fashioned phone chain. And if you don't have someone's phone number, good old fashioned letter in the mail. And if we have regular meetings at a regular location, that also solves a lot of the communication issues too.
Totally.
Every single person I talked to, every single one, I asked, when is the normal meeting? Like, when are our meetings? And they said, 4th Thursday of every month at 6 p.m. Everyone in the Republican Party knows that, and they've diverted from that. They don't do that anymore. So now it's confusing everybody. But it's like, if we had a what is it called? A headquarters, or at least just a regular location, like say the Coos Bay Library, then we wouldn't really have to put out all these notices and contact everybody. I mean, it would still be, we should do our due diligence to do that, but it would be much easier for people to come if they had a regular time to meet. They would just know that, hey, each month, like that's where you go. I don't know. There's so many normal, common sense, like rational things that we could all be doing.
Yes.
With the Republican Party, and it's like somebody is purposely doing the complete opposite. And again, I cannot think of who would be doing that other than a Democrat operative.
Democrats. Yeah.
I cannot come to any other conclusion. Please, people, help me come to another conclusion, because that's not a great conclusion.
And I believe, and this is okay, you want to go down that rabbit hole. My conspiracy theory is and you can watch Steve Bannon. You can listen to Trevor Loudon. You can listen to many different geopoliticists who have analyzed the situation. And one of the things that I know is happening is that we're being bought out by China. A lot of the politicians, if they can't be blackmailed, they're being bribed and they're bought out. And this is happening on both sides of the aisle. They've proven this in Canada. They have proven that over 1/3 of the politicians are on the take for China on the west coast of Canada. And they suspect that is true here in the west coast of America. And you got to remember this simple fact. Oregon is the #1 trading partner for all the states with the country of China. And that's not by accident. So I want people to think about this when we're talking about a small party who is fighting for the political career of some politicians who may be, well, not on the up and up. I don't know. You go look at their vote and you tell me. You go look at the actions of the party and you tell me. I have no other explanation for it, but there's just one unproven conspiracy theory that I have.
I just approach it from the simple, like, rational perspective of, like, if you are a secretary of a county Republican Party and you receive this petition that has been signed properly, why would you do anything but collaborate with the people who signed it to organize the meeting at a time that makes sense for the body?
Right.
And especially if there's already a date and time listed and a meeting room booked, why would you change it? Why would you fight against that? I mean, it's insane. And that's where we're at. We're dealing with
Chris,
people who are toddlers.
I am not accusing anyone in the lower levels of the party of working with the communist Chinese. That's not the conspiracy. I'm telling you, it's way, way up the food chain. But that's why they want to keep these counties aligned.
It seems like it.
Yeah. And
right? Why is somebody doing this? Why are they playing? At this point, it's so concrete. Like, again, read the line there, that last line of the bylaws. That's all there is to it. It's not like a page worth of specifics and hoops that you have to jump through to call a special meeting. The special meeting should be being called right now, immediately. Like, the petition has been signed. The public, the PCPs have spoken. We have consensus in our organization. We demand a meeting. I mean, like, this is mind-blowing. The fact that this is now like 48 hours later and there's been no response except for, I guess, a text now that says that it's not happening. I'm assuming that means that the specific meeting date and time is not happening, that we're going to have to, like, pick a new one.
Pick a new one.
Which, as long as it's like done with haste, I don't mind. It's still a pain in the ass. I'm gonna have to call these people back.
Private meeting. What's this mean? It's a private meeting. Is it just for PCPs?
Right.
Is it the executive board? Is it an executive meeting?
No, because they are control freaks. Control freaks. So they feel like they are still in power and they can still dictate how this operates, how it runs, who's in control, what happens, what's said, all this stuff, even though they've been told, no, we want to have a meeting. And it's not their meeting, it's the body's meeting. It's whoever signed this petition. Honestly, it should be their meeting now, because they're the majority. They called the meeting. Yes, other PCPs can attend, the public should attend, and it should be transparent, but they're such control freaks. They're gonna be control freaks till the last minute, and then probably after that, you think they're gonna turn over if they lose control of this party someday in, like, a new executive team election? Do you think they're gonna just, like, willingly hand stuff over? No, they're not gonna transition well. We're dealing with toddlers and control freaks, and you know, I'm gonna get shit for saying that, oh, you're name calling. Look, don't give me a name to call you. Don't act like a toddler, and I'll never call you a toddler. Don't be unprofessional, and I'll never say that you're unprofessional. I mean, this is crazy. If someone did this in a business, they'd be fired in an instant.
Right.
Like, you're not calling the meeting, your secretary. You have to. Anyway, I hope this is helpful to people. I never in a million years wanted to know any of this shit. Any of it. I never wanted to be doing any of this. I never wanted to know any of it. I never wanted to know that there were bylaws for an organization called the Coos County Republican Central Committee, right? Like I would not want to be sitting here reading Robert's Rules of Order. But I am, because
Yeah.
I care, because
Yeah,
it's what needs to be done.
right.
And, screw you to the people who are making us go through this. You suck. You really
suck.
do. You suck. You're wasting all of our time, all of our energy, all of our money. And for what?
For
For
what?
what? Insane.
And it's insane. And so, and they'll go, oh, well, see, they're complaining. That's all they're doing. They have nothing, and they will completely ignore every single point that we have made up to now. And I want to make another point about the emails. Jason Payne developed a huge email list for the party, and it wasn't just PCPs, and everyone got a notice for the monthly regular meeting where everyone was allowed to attend. The PCPs they would have to show credentials and have to be filed in. I forget how we distinguished them. Usually we had them stand up. That's all we did. We just had them stand up if they were PCPs because we knew who all of them were. And that's how we would have the meetings. Everyone. I got the email list for 7-8 years without even being a Republican because I left the Republican Party for a while. And I got those emails, and that has stopped not only for the regular people, but for most of the PCPs now on the list. And they've shut
Well, now they
down
want to have private meetings.
and now they want private meetings. Right.
Yep.
I wonder how many.
And they're going to blame you
PCPs got that.
and me. They're going to say we're disruptive,
Of course.
but they're not going to explain to people why we're so frustrated, why we're so upset, why we're so passionate, who we're fighting for, what we're fighting for. They don't explain that. Yeah. Oh, he must have been driving like a Tesla or something. Fancy car. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell people. This is sad. This is a sad moment for Coos County. We have done everything we need to do to show and prove that people want a new direction for the Republican Party, and they're still stonewalling us. They're still roadblocking, and they have no right to do it. None. And this would be grounds for a recall, right? If the secretary does not honor this petition, that would be grounds for recall. But now I'm going to have to go get a second petition to recall a person who doesn't acknowledge a petition. I mean, this is the insanity of this situation.
Well, that's why definitely the bylaws, man, they had to be changed. They're not the same bylaws that were there when I was there. I mean, there were a lot of rules that were added and things that were subtracted. And my whole entire position on the executive board was completely removed. Wild stuff, very wild stuff. Well, you mean that's what happens when you don't pay attention? It's our fault. In essence, this is our fault because we didn't pay attention. We didn't do anything. I mean, you can't really get blamed because you had no clue about it, but there were a lot of us. We knew the party was like this. And we said, nah, we're not going to worry about it. We're not going to get involved. Well, now's the chance to get involved. We've got 34 people who've already signed up. And they've got 6 months. They signed up 6 months early. That's how excited they are to be precinct committee people. And this started all back on September 11th, which was really cool. The day after Charlie Kirk's assassination. And we started this kind of little movement here in Coos County where we want to go back to precinct voting, but the only way to really do that is to fill those precinct positions. And I think the Democrats should be running on this as well because, well, they're Democrats. They would seems like people who could vote for things. That's what they like. We like it too if it's within our party, and these are really good Republicans, and there are a lot of good Republicans out there. I've been out there getting myself, me and Marty and a bunch of other people, Brandy, have been out there. We've been out there getting this recall Kotek and NVBM, and it pisses me off that you and I are talking about the bullshit with the party instead of talking about how the party is promoting this movement right here here in Coos County. That just ticks me off, man.
Yep. No, and they don't want to have any involvement with you. They don't want to help you out whatsoever. Um,
Mm.
and they're even attacking their own people now. Like I mentioned there's two factions. There are some people that switched. I flipped them over to joining this consensus now, and they're being persecuted for it. So you have two people in the party who were trying to be what's called a bonus delegate. We have a state convention this week, right? So we're going to
Right.
come up with the state platform, and it's collaborative. Everyone from across the state, all the different counties comes, but you have to have a vote. You have to be credentialed, there's a process for it. Each county gets to elect people to come to this convention, and Coos County didn't do that. We didn't hold this vote. We've known since May how many seats we're allowed to have at this convention, and it has not been brought up for a vote. It was on the agenda in July, and Michael adjourned the meeting before getting to it. It would have been on the agenda in September. I guess it was September 13th. I think it was last Saturday. We were supposed to have a meeting, and Michael canceled that meeting last minute, and we did not elect these bonus delegates. Well, I, as a last ditch effort, was like, well, I'm going to try and do an because the executive team can do stuff that the whole committee, the whole central committee, all the PCPs can do. I don't like that, because I like to have the whole committee convened, especially when you're talking about electing a representative. But I was like, hey, these people are pretty well known. I'm sure everybody would agree. So let's do it via the executive committee. So last night, I sent an email out, I think it was last night or this morning, and say, hey, can we have an executive team meeting?
Right.
Or just even, can we just respond to this email and say yay or nay? And if we get enough yays, can that approve these two people to be bonus delegates? Well, the first thing they said was they tried, because we got 4 out of 9 votes via email that said yay. And then we got word that somebody had ratted on us, went to the state people and got them to say, no, you guys can't vote via email because your bylaws does not have a clause for that. And it's like, what? We voted via email as an executive committee before. So the same people that asked us to vote as an executive committee via email in the past went to the state to prove to us that we're not allowed to do that. Isn't that nuts? And then I suggested, hey, well, why don't we have an executive meeting? We can vote over Zoom. We've done that in the past. Well, then they went back to the state and they got them to tell us, well, sorry, you would normally have to do a 10-day notice for that Zoom meeting, so you don't have enough time. You won't be able to give proper notice, so your meeting would be invalid. And I go, whoa. We've never had 10-day notice for our Zoom meetings. Almost every single one of our executive committee meetings has been over Zoom, and we only get a couple days notice. I believe in one instance, it was same day. And we've never had an issue with it. We've made big purchasing decisions and things like that. So they went to the state to tell us that we're not allowed to do that. And it's like, do you guys not have the forethought to realize, well, shit, does that just invalidate? One of our members bought the big tent and a bunch of merchandise from action voted upon during an executive committee meeting over Zoom that did not have proper notice, apparently. So are they stuck with that bill now? Do we have to go to Orstar and change that? No, we were not authorized to reimburse that person. Then we're going to get fined because that was not proper. I mean, guys, I don't even want to know about this stuff. I don't even want to know what Orstar means. I'm sorry, I'm probably boring people, but this is the sort of this just happened this morning. They're stonewalling to not even allow these people to go to the convention. And these are very well-liked people. I don't want to name them, but very, very well-liked people in the community, very well-liked within the party. They would be amazing representatives. And you have, I believe the chair is behind this, is stonewalling them. Procedural stonewalls so that they cannot go. Even though in the past, the same person has allowed us to vote via email and vote via video conference with very short notice. It's insane.
he plays loose and free with the well, Rod used to do the same thing. Rod would do exactly the same thing, and we he played loose and free with the rules, and so we
Well,
did a
it's, what
lot
do
of
they say?
things that I
Rules
don't
for
think really.
thee, but not for me.
Yeah. Well, and but we were, but when you're all getting along, it's not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? When everyone agrees, you're like, oh, okay, well, did we really agree on that or not? You know what I mean? But
Well, yeah,
that
my
wasn't
personal style, by the way, would agree. Like, come on, we should be able to vote over email. And if anybody has
right.
a problem with it, then we change the bylaws to, I guess, write it down so you guys don't be pests. But
Oh,
like, come on, like, this is
Zoom
simple
meetings,
stuff. It's a
definitely.
county committee, like Zoom meetings, like this
Yeah.
stuff should be happening, and we should have enough lateral whatever to be able to do this stuff. But I guess this is the consequence of loosey goosey and not having bylaws that are strict enough to explain
Yeah.
these processes. But it's just
I don't
crappy
know.
that someone would go to the state to yell at us and say, no, you can't hold meetings that way, even though we've been doing it all year. And it's the same people who call those meetings and organize those meetings. It's like mind blowing to me. But to answer Steve's question, I'm going to the state convention. I'll
Where's
be
that
there.
at?
Danessa will be there in Welch's, Oregon, like Mount Hood area, um,
Okay.
near
Wow,
Portland, like
sounds
east of
fancy.
Portland. It is very fancy. I'm like, I looked at the bill and I went, oh, so I might be camping, like tent camping
Hmm.
instead, because that was a big bill. Um, but anyways, yeah, I'll be going. Danessa will be going. I was told Michael's going, which will be very strange. Like, okay, they're gonna sit us right next to one another, and like, I'd like to discuss what's going on, sir.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really understand that one. Like, I really don't get it. Like, do they think that they can just avoid this forever? I mean, like, again, and then they complain that some people are disruptive. It's like, okay, well, when you stifle debate and dialogue and free speech for so long, and you go after people and make stuff up and lie and cheat and manipulate and make up rules, you're gonna get people at your meeting who are pissed off.
Yeah.
Why would you expect anything different? So
Yeah.
we'll
And
see.
that's just it. He didn't realize though how the first meeting was he just really didn't read the crowd. But the second meeting was total obstruction. And that to me was what was really, someone told him, make sure whatever you do, don't put more than 3 PCPs on there. We can't have
Right.
that. We can't have them growing the party. They might do something like take a vote. God forbid they take a vote. And that was what he was getting, the what he was told to do at the second meeting. And that's what caused us to, especially me, it was the obstruction. When I know I'm being obstructed and there is nothing, no way of going around it, yeah, I'm going to blow a gasket or two. And so it's called for when you know this is a violation of what they should be doing. And screw them if they are upset or too sensitive, because you were there. They were no better than we were. That's what killed me. None of them were any better than we were, and they were saying that we were rude and insulting. Believe me, it was a
It was
two-way
crazy
street.
all around, and I would
Yeah,
not advocate for anyone to participate in that sort of crap again. But I'm also not going to sit there and dismiss people's emotions like they don't matter and like they're not real
right,
and like they weren't preventable.
right.
I mean, like all of this is preventable, was
All of this
preventable,
was
still going
preventable.
forward is preventable. Like
Yep.
Lourdes, call the meeting.
Yeah.
Secretary Lourdes, call the meeting. Well, and Michael, Chairman Brainard, let's have an executive committee meeting. Um, I have an email. I'm not going to put it up, but you know, what I mean, like when I send them the petition, I'm even nice enough to like be like, look, I'm trying to suggest, like, obviously, this meeting is going to be contentious. Here are some suggestions on things we can do to avoid that. Let's have an executive committee meeting prior to the um, the petition meeting, right? Why would we just walk into the petition meeting after not having talked about any of this? It's insane. We need to be all on the same page walking into that meeting. They do not know how to work with people they disagree with. That's the bottom line. I've worked with people I disagree with my entire life, but they don't. Yet
Yeah,
somehow we're the crazy people.
we're the insane
It's wild.
people. And
Like people have
I've
said, like,
never
"Oh,
been, yeah,
Michael's a great guy. I've met him. I work with
he's a
him. He's great. He's
genius.
always been nice to me." And it's like, right, because you've only operated in with around him while you're working on something that he agrees with.
Yeah.
Try working with Michael Brainard on something that he does not want to work on. If somebody can crack that code, let me know.
I'm getting crazy Sal is hitting messages to me. You want me to just delete
Oh boy.
those?
Yeah. That
Yeah,
guy's completely mental, completely lost it at this point.
yeah, I
Um,
can just delete those. Delete comment.
I'm sitting here talking and then I see like the screen blow up the comment section. So it
Yeah,
must
I
be him.
was too. And
What
the
a
guy's
nut.
crazy. And the more you give him
Needs
attention,
mental assistance.
yeah. And so he was doing it under another name just about 20 minutes ago. I guess he got another account.
Can you
Crazy, man.
imagine
It's
being
crazy.
like bored and pathetic? I don't know.
Yeah, that you're
But
coming
yeah,
after us.
no.
Right.
This is by the way, I hope I don't sound like down because it's like this is our
No,
moment, people. Like this, the Republican Party is moving forward. This
totally.
will be resolved. At the very latest, this will be resolved in May when there is a resounding chorus of we want to go in a different direction from the
Yeah.
election. The election results will show that. I am very confident. And then we just proved last week through this petition that it's already being sung. The
Yeah.
PCPs, the neighborhood representatives, are singing. They're saying, we want to grow the party.
Yep.
And they're demanding it, actually. They demanded it in a legal petition, and that's being ignored. But we are better than them. We are stronger than them. We're more passionate. We're more dedicated. And we have the wind in our sails, and we have the right people on our side with the right ideas and the right energy. And we will prevail. People, there's my speech. That I'm sticking to it.
No ranting. It's not Friday. What's the matter with you? I just watched Cheryl Armstrong. She says you are very compassionate, and that's what we need. And not just you. We need all of the people, the 34 people that are now listed as PCPs. We need some of them to step up to that executive board because first off, we need candidates. Because we're going to want everyone to be able to have a lot of choices, and we're going to have to find out who those candidates are. And I hope there are people out there who are going to step up and who are going to say, now's the time to get involved. I hope they're inspired by recent events, but without other people doing this, it's going to be impossible because you know what I mean? Yeah. You and I have got, I'm to my limit. I'm sure you're to your limit. I mean, how many cameras can you be placing out there and monitoring at the same time?
I'm beyond my limit. We need a new leader for the Republican Party. We need someone to rise from all of this. I've actually reached out to their side and said, hey, I don't even mind if it's one of you guys, as long as you can get us past this crap and build a bridge and make it work. But we need a new leader. Michael and I should resign. We shouldn't be involved. I'd like to be involved because I think I can see people's strengths and help them out and work with them well. I think I can reach across both sides and work well. But I want to keep this other side involved, and they're so stubborn, and they've been manipulated so much that they don't want anything to do with me, and that's fine. That's their choice. So I can understand that if in order for us all to move forward, it might mean that I have to step away. I'm fine with that. I think that's unfortunate. I think I have a lot of assets to bring to the party, but
you as we were talking about, at the very least, because I'm going to of course I'm up for PCP, you're up for PCP, and that's the very least we can do for the party, because that gives us a voting share of the 198 who are involved, if we can get that many involved. And I intend to work my ass off to get 198 people involved. I think that's the most important thing we can do, because the more people there are, the less chance any faction from anywhere can take full control of the party. And I think the more
Right.
people you have, the better ideas flow to the top. They go, wow, that argument is great. And you have more people making the different arguments because they're all agreeing and hearing with the dissension and people who agree with them. And we need to get back to that. That party was like that at one time. And we really need to get back to that. And that's how we're going to find better candidates. There were some people who came out to be really good candidates out of that, the Republicans over the years. And we found those candidates. We need to get those candidates back. And don't get me wrong, there's been a lot of bad candidates coming out of the Republican Party. And I think that's something we need to work on too, as far as getting not only good bylaws that, talk about the administrative part of the party, but we also need to find out where we are as far as our values. What values do we all share that we can fight for, and then demand our politicians, our representatives, the executive board to reflect those values? I don't know. Just a thought there.
No, 100%. That makes sense. Yep. We need new leadership in the party. So it's going to be somebody. Somebody's got to step up. I've been throwing names around and talking with people, and a lot of people just don't want to do it. They've seen the trouble that we've had to go through, and they're like, no, we don't want it. And yeah, we're getting there. So I can't get over the fact that like we followed the rules. We did the petition, and they're just ignoring it. Like it's a joke, like it's something that can just be ignored.
Right.
And I don't know why. So
yeah, that's the sad part. I thought at least once we got the majority of the vote that there was nothing that they would do to refuse us. And I don't know. I'll wait till Lourdes gets back to you with the meeting, but we'll see if it's worth it.
They're gonna play all sorts of games because that's who they are. And I would love for them to not be that type of people, but that's who they've shown to be. And it sucks, but now we have to parade them around until everybody can see what type of people they really are, and then it'll finally completely backfire on them. And it already has.
Yeah.
But
no expectations.
Yes.
So I've been talk about running the parallel campaign. Like I said, this is what they should be involved with. And I got to tell people that we've got 3 signature pop-up booths that are going to happen, signature booths. And one's happening in Napa on Wednesday from 10 to 2. This is Napa in Bandon on this Wednesday from 10 to 2. We're going to be doing this. And then we're going to hop over to Best Western parking lot. And it's just a parking lot. Business has nothing to do with this. We're going to have another signature booth from 10 to 2, Thursday, September 25th. Why? Because I'm such an asshole. You know, Chris, I'm such a dick that I'm going to go out there and subject myself to all kinds of, insults and degradation and have to deal with a lot of BS just because, I want people to have the right to vote on laws that will change policies to help better their life. And I will be honest, I'm selfish. It's all because I'm hoping it will better my life.
Oh yeah, you benefit greatly from this. Yes.
Yeah.
Individually, you benefit financially. You'll have 17 virgins in the afterlife for this, and tons of jewelry and gold.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. And after I pay the bill and wake up, but this one's at the Best Western parking lot. And thank you for all those businesses who allow us to use their parking lot. They let a lot of groups use their parking lot. It's not just us. And this is on the South Highway 101 and East Market in Coos Bay. It's catty corner from the Tioga building, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Thursday, folks, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Thursday. And then the following week, I think we're going to come out for a couple of evening pop-up signature booths because everyone's complaining that they can't get to it during the day, which I understand. It's all right. So we're going to do one a little bit later in the evening the following week. But this week, 10 to 2, and we got a special one happening at Uncle Randy's parking lot in Coquille, 4 to 6 p.m. Now, that one's more in the evening time. Have no excuse. If you get off work, head over there. I'm going to try to be out there because the lady out there, she's by herself. And I kind of want people not to be on their own. It's really a lot better to have people to be around you just in case Antifa shows up. You never know. You never know. An Antifa might show up, but I don't know if you're allowed to arrest them now since they're domestic terrorists. Can you go, all right, I'm going to arrest you. You're a domestic terrorist. I'm taking you in. But
It would be interesting to know the legalities of that. I mean, right? It must mean something if you've designated them as terrorists. But Oregon, we're going to be a sanctuary state for terrorists.
For the terrorist. So crazy. So we're going to try to end vote by mail. Go back to old timey voting where you show your ID. It's a crazy idea. Once again, because I'm a selfish bastard. And we're doing this 4 to 6 p.m. in Coquille at Uncle Randy's parking lot Friday. This Friday, folks, September 26th. And that's just some of the things that we are doing. And God, it's really grueling because you have to say the same thing over and over again repetitively. You're explaining all 3 petitions. You got to remember this one's for this and this one does that because everyone has crazy questions about them, and it's totally legitimate. I'd be asking the same thing, but it's just repetitive. It's like I feel like we need AI Rob. That's what we need.
Bring a bot.
Yeah.
Sit it there. Ask AI Rob. iRob.
I like it. iRob. That was a good book. That was a good book back in the day when was that H.G. Wells? No, that wasn't H.G. Wells. Who did iRobot? Who was that?
iRobot was damn it, I forget. Isaac Asimov. Asimov? I don't know how it says the last name, but yeah.
I never would have guessed that.
Yep. He was like a science fiction writer, computer guy. He I think that was actually part of like a bunch of short stories, and they turned it into a movie, but I believe it was him.
Yeah. There's been a whole bunch of versions of that.
It's Isaac. Prove me wrong.
I don't know. So there you go. Prove me wrong. Yeah. Prove me wrong. 3H Tree Service is the best tree service in the county, if not the state. And you got to prove me wrong. If you need them, you can call it 541-297-1600. That's once again, 541-297. Is that 1800? I'm sorry. There's a little brick over it. 541-297-1800 at 3H Tree Service. And you can find them on the Facebook page of the same name, 3H Tree Service. And they got some really cool videos. Matt is signed up to be a precinct person. And I just got a couple of texts back that some of the people I've contacted are going to sign up for PCPs.
Very cool.
It's very cool. And
lots of people. I mean, I was at a Charlie Kirk memorial last night, and I had, I think, 4 or 5 people come up to me that expressed interest in like, how do we get involved? What do we do? How do we get this conservative movement like launched and just throw it at Coos County and keep it going? And I'm like, well, this is one way. And I explained to them the, Republican Party stuff, and they were like, absolutely, we're signing up. Some people pulled up their phone and did it right there because like you can do it online. Pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. So like I said, I've got a block over the entire number. It tells me how many likes and hearts I've gotten, and it tells me how many people are watching. And the phone number is blocked. But from what I'm being told, it's 541-294-1800.
Yes.
For 3H Tree Service. And thank you, Cheryl. Thank you so much. 541-294-1800. I should know that by now. I'm just not good at numbers anymore. The brain is gone. It's, I'm getting old.
Look them up on Facebook though, because they do have cool videos, really good reviews. I believe. Do they still have all 5-star reviews? Probably.
That's good.
Kicking ass. So
that's good.
That's pretty rare to have strictly 5 stars. That's
strictly
insane.
5 stars. Yeah. But good stuff. Good stuff. I think they were running for was it Bicoastal Media?
Toast of the South Coast.
Toast of the South Coast. That's what it is. See, once again, the brain's going. Toast of the South Coast, toast of the South Coast, and they won last year. And I think we had, well, it's past 5 o'clock. We had until 5 o'clock today to get in our vote. So I hope they won. We'll see. We'll celebrate. And Amanda Hawker says, I'm in Prineville. Sorry, I missed the show. Well, damn it, Amanda.
We're still here. Hi, Amanda.
You can catch it on podcast. You can rewatch the whole entire 3 hours. We had Rob from Doug Washington on the show, and he was very animated. He was really going there for a while about the whole Dowdy thing. I think, I don't know. I don't know if you can change the law in this damn state, but yeah, it sucks that he only got the 22 years. People will say that's okay, but damn. It makes my day if I can flick a little bit of shit. Yeah, that's beautiful there.
I just checked the PCP list and we got another person signed up. So
did we?
I thought we'd have more, but we got at least one. Progress.
We got at least one. That's all right. It's how many times have they seen this many people sign up this early? I guarantee you that almost never happens. And I'm proud to be part of that movement itself. That is cool. And then you going out and getting those 25 current PCPs. That just good work.
Excellent. I just enjoyed talking to all the people. It was pretty neat. I was at people's house for like an hour or so each person. Yeah.
That's why most people don't want to go, because they know it's going to be very conversational because they're all Republicans. So they're all going to be kind of like-minded.
Yeah.
And so you can
and I can talk too, but
yeah.
I think the one day I only got to 3 houses. I started at like noon and got home at 7 and I went to 3 houses.
That's usually about how it goes. Yeah, that's about right. Another great person that's a great place that you might want to take your car, because they do a good job on the cars. If you got to go traveling, you can schedule an appointment to see if your car is travel worthy. Is your car travel worthy? I really seriously need to take my car in to see if it's travel worthy. I sometimes wonder, it makes funny noises. And so I don't know. I need to go see Tom and Gig, see what's happening. But you guys can go see him. And his number is 541-888-4660. And they're at 135 South Shoneman Street in the Empire neighborhood behind the car wash. And if you know where the Empire neighborhood is, you know where the car wash is. Tom and Gigs. And they got some really cool stuff. I do like looking at going to the store is like going to, the kids' toy store. Tom and Gigs.
Radio Shack.
It does remind me of Radio Shack. Totally. Tom and Gigs, lift kits and performance accessories. That's a nice place to go. And they got really cool stuff. And they got all the accessories. Like you said, it's like Radio Shack. And they got Tannerite. You have to be 18 years or older to buy Tannerite. And of course, Herbal Choices, the cannabis store. If you need cannabis, you can get it there at Herbal Choices. The herbalchoice.com website can tell you more about all of their selections. But you have to be 21 years or older to be a customer of Herbal Choices. They have 5 locations, one in Charleston, one in Coos Bay, one in Bandon, one in North Bend, and one in Reedsport. And I can almost guarantee, I bet you Chris has never been in a single one of them.
I've been to the Reedsport one, but it was for a friend. He really needed his pot.
Yeah, well, I totally get that. The gummies are actually good because it eliminates the smoking, and the smoking is really good.
Unless they have bad quality control and you get one of the gummies that was like absolutely loaded. They didn't mix it well.
Oh man.
Anyways. Yeah. Some of them have a different potency in the same bag if they're not mixed well, if they didn't do a good batch.
So who was saying I was watching somewhere where the official was saying that the weed is laced with fentanyl.
That would have made sense.
And I was like, but it was a high number, like 98% of the weed is laced with fentanyl. And I'm thinking, well, probably not at the pot shops because they got to get tested there. And I don't
Right.
think they could lace the gummies, because wouldn't people complain who were doing the gummies and turning into zombies?
Or like pot already
Mm.
makes you mellow, I guess
Yeah.
depending on what variety, but generally makes you mellow. And then fentanyl, like you just pass out, you fall asleep. What would be the point?
Yeah. Oh, I
Um,
would notice. I would notice.
right.
And I'm
I
a
think they're
cons-
trying to make it stronger the other way. If they told me it was laced with meth, I'd believe them, like in small quantities, because I don't know,
Hmm.
or not
What?
meth, but like something psychotic like DMT, um, in small quantities. That was a thing when I was in California. People were making their own vapes and mixing it with
Yeah.
all sorts of weird psychotics.
Yeah.
No, 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 that's bad.
That's real bad.
Not that I tried. I'm all good. No thanks.
No, but I heard about
Pass it.
that. That was in the old days, the vape machines, they didn't have vape pens and the cartridges like they have now. You know how they're little. These were like little machines.
Oh wow,
They were like this
like a hook,
big.
like a hookah. Is that what it's called?
No, these were the original vape pens. They would have cartridges, and there would be the little
Oh,
machines that you would that sit on a desk. You couldn't hold these things, and it would have a tube, and you would suck through the tube to get the vape, and it worked just like a vape pen, except that it was a box that was much larger than the vape pen. And then eventually, this was in the mid '90s, but eventually they were able to get down to the smaller cartridge size. And but yeah, originally it was huge. It wasn't. It was like, oh, this is going to be the future, and we're like looking at it, going, I really don't think people are going to spend. And it was like $400 or $500 for this thing.
oh
That
wow.
much money for something that you have to
Now
put on
they're
a desk.
now they're USB rechargeable.
And
And
now look at them.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's the capitalism there. But Oregon Firearms Federation, they don't have anything to do with vape pens. They're all about your Second Amendment right and your right to defend yourself. And you can find out more at OregonFirearms.org. I'm going to get Kevin Starrett on this show to talk more about some of the gun laws that have just recently been passed. Abandoned Gun Club, highly recommend them at abandonedgunclub.org. You can find out more. And the Taiga Sports Park, they don't have a rifle range at Abandoned Gun Club, but they do have one at Taiga Sports Park. And you can find out more at taigasportspark.org. And this group right here, like I said, boy, that was just so cool. The things you guys are doing out there is just amazing. On top of doing this whole Republican thing, you're doing how many politicians do you think are doing what you're doing, considering what you're doing?
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know. They're doing other politician stuff, but am I a politician now? That just sounds so derogatory.
It is derogatory. And
What am I? What am I doing?
I don't like activist either. That sounds so, well, gay. First off, it's really gay.
I mean-
I'm an activist. Yeah, you fart sniffing freak. I mean, shut up.
What I did last week was politics. That was
Yeah.
I've never done anything like that. That was pure politics. That was like mending things, talking, trying to figure people out, trying to understand the whole situation, trying to move a whole group of people in a certain direction, herding cattle. That was a lot. So anyways, what are we talking about? Neighborhood watch. If you want to get involved with taking your neighborhood back, don't be a cuck, take your neighborhood back.
Thank
Go on the Facebook group Neighborhood Watch, and they got good stuff there. If you get robbed or you see something going on that shouldn't be, this is the group to post it in, because 9 times out of 10 they're going to solve the crime. They're going to figure out who it was just from a blurry photo. So bunch of good people in that group.
I'm always amazed at what they can always discover stuff. And I didn't see you last week. What did you go over last week on your video, your podcast?
I didn't do one. I was out going around to all the people's houses. I didn't even realize, like, Brandy messaged me and it was like 5:40 and I go, oh my gosh. I'm like, I had no idea. I pulled over on the side of the road and like messaged her back, and then posted in the group like, sorry, I'm in the middle of like 17 projects. I can't right now. So sorry, people. It sucks. I wish I could do more stuff like that, like get involved, like help other people get involved on that level and not be doing this weird political stuff with the Republican Party.
So
such
So
a time suck.
you're going to be able to kind of give us an update on Wednesday for what happens between now and then with the Republicans, because I guarantee you there's going to be more back and forth. So that's going to be kind of cool.
Yep. Yeah. Although I might have to cancel this Wednesday. My schedule this week is crazy. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I'm
All
like,
right.
I have like 20 things, and I'm like, all right, well, I can only do 11. So pick the 9 that are not going to get done.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. So
Cool.
I might not even be within cell service on Wednesday. So we'll see.
All right. Well, I thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Your time, and we'll see you next time. Okay.
Yeah, appreciate it, Rob. Always enjoy chatting with you. Thanks for everything you do. Bye, guys.
All right. You too. Take care. And that was Chris Castleman. I will be back next week. I'll be doing the Friday night rant this Friday, of course. I mean, where else am I going to be on Friday night? Oh, I know. I will be at Uncle Randy's getting signatures from 4 to 6. I think I'm going to be out there and help that nice woman who decided to gather signatures. It was so, that's the thing that helps the most when you got people who volunteer, who get into the fray, so to say. Get into the fray. Well, let's see. We don't want that. We want this. It really wasn't Rage Against the Machine. It was a generic Rage Against the Fax Machine. That's what it was. It was back in the 80s. That's what we did. We raged against the fax machine. If you ever had to work with a fax machine, all of you who ever did work with a fax machine, you know what I'm talking about. Got a reason to rage against the fax machine. But I'll see you Friday. We'll be doing the rant. I don't know who's going to be on. It's I'm trying to get Todd Vaughn on. Next week, I'm hoping to get a guest for to talk about the Antifa and them being distinguished as a domestic terrorist group by the president. I think that's going to have some, negative consequences for the group here in Oregon, and I can't wait to see what happens. And until then, folks, you know what I always say, carry on, Coos County, carry on.